Hello, and welcome to Hello Sister, a Vampire Diaries podcast with a magical twist.
We're your hosts, Christina Rosso-Schneider
and Brenna Dinon. Christina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. It's nice and warm. Starting to do a spring wardrobe refresh, which is really fun. And also enjoying this beautiful spring weather. I just went to the Philadelphia Zoo the other day.
That's so fun.
It was so fun, and I got to see multiple bats. So I got to see fruit bats and vampire bats, right? So always doing pod work.
Of course.
Right? So I did want to share
please.
A really fun little fact I learned about vampire bats when I was watching them like crawl and scuttle and run, because they do that. They're so cute. They're just like itty bitty little babies.
I know the little picture that you showed me. So cute.
They're just babies.
They're just little babies.
So I thought this was really interesting, and it, of course, ties into the show. But the question was, can bat saliva save a life? And the answer is yes. So vampire bats have a special protein called draculin. Right?
Wow.
You can tell where that came from, right?
That's fun.
In their saliva. So this protein lets blood flow instead of clotting.
Whoa.
Yeah. Right. So draculin is being studied for the treatment in particular of strokes for humans.
Whoa.
And how it can help with that. Yeah. So super interesting. And in this episode, we're going to get to see an example of how vampire blood is healing. And I feel like there has to be a connection, right, between what the actual natural scientific world is doing, right, with vampire bats, and then how that echoes into folklore. So I thought that was fun.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How are you? What's going on with you?
Well, we just had a lovely walk outside.
We sure did.
Prior to recording today. The weather is getting a lot nicer, which is honestly, after this winter, every warm day is a gift to me.
Truly.
Especially just having the sun just on your face. It just is like nothing else. But yeah, in general, good. Just, we're recording here at the top of my work week. So, I'm in my weekly routine mode, but I'm excited to be here to talk about this episode with you today. So
so excited. Well, any reminders for folks before we jump in?
So just kind of normal stuff here where as a reminder, we are on Instagram and Threads at Hello Sister Podcast, and a reminder that if you would like to email us, you can do so at hellosisterpodcast1864 at gmail.com. So please do drop us a line.
Send us photos of little vampire bats.
Yeah. Honestly, anything you read. We had actually just a random aside, but we had some folks tagging us in Fangs Out Friday recommendations that people have read books or have commented on things that they've watched or whatever. So if you have taken up one of our recommendations, let us know. We love to hear that. And if you tag it online, we'll share it. So.
Absolutely. All right, let's dive into the Vampire Diaries episode 9 called History Repeating. This episode is directed by Marcos C. Ega, written by Brian Holdman and Brian Young. Love when we have both Brians. And it aired on November 12th, 2009. As always, we love to include the IMDb synopsis. So this one is fun as usual. Jeremy gets a break from the mysterious new history teacher, Alaric Saltzman, played by Matt Damus, and IMDb wants us to know he's from Blue Crush.
What a throwback. Have you ever seen that movie?
Yeah, but not recently.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could not tell you a single thing that happens in the movie, let alone remember that he was in it. It was about surfing.
That's it.
Are they in Australia? Maybe.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I have no idea. And then the second part of the synopsis, Damon reveals to Stefan the stunning reason he returned to Mystic Falls. I mean, it is pretty stunning. It is definitely a jaw-dropping moment.
It is.
So I love that this is the focus of the IMDb synopsis. The Jeremy thing I don't think is as critical, but Damon certainly is.
Yeah.
But what about our girl Bonnie? Because it's a pretty big episode for her.
Pretty big episode for her, too. So, always mysterious. The IMDb synopses keeping us...
the most mystical thing.
Mystical and Mystic Falls. So, all right. We're going right in to scene 1. I see dead people. All right. We are at Mystic Falls High/Fells Church. Bonnie is trying her best not to doze off in math class as she sees a figure go past the door, which is her ancestor, Emily Bennett. She leaves class to follow Emily through the hallway and comes face to face with her by a locker. Emily looks at Bonnie and keeps walking, and Bonnie follows, and they end up eventually at the cemetery again where we saw Bonnie end up last episode. Emily asks Bonnie for help, and Bonnie asks who Emily is despite knowing who she is. And Emily confirms that, makes it known that they do know who each other are, right?
She's like, you know.
She's like, you know. And she does know. And then Emily says, this is where it's... Oh, because they are in the Fells Church area now, Bonnie does ask where they are. And so Emily does reply to this and says, this is where it started and this is where it has to end. And but Bonnie responds to this like any kind of normal person would, being like, none of this is happening is real. And she tries to run, but Emily ghost stalks her further, inquiring for help before Bonnie wakes up again, gasping in the middle of math class, which draws everyone's attention. And she tells the girl sitting next to her to turn around and looks back to the other side. And Emily's right there. What a jump scare. And she screams and wakes outside of Old Fells Church again. Cue opening credits. What a little horror moment.
Yeah, it's really well done. I've watched this episode so many times, obviously recently. And I made my husband... backed up so Alex can watch when Emily is tucked behind the locker and she's looking down until that last second where she just raises her eyes. It's so creepy. And Alex was like, it's not that creepy. And I was like, yes, it is. Okay. I think it's really well done.
It is. Dwight was watching it with me last night and he was like, oh. Yeah. Because it is. It's like, it's good stuff. Good horror stuff. Okay. So, So anyway, we love a scary moment, and this is just, again, kind of tracking through previous episodes. We're just getting a little horror moment to set us up. So another thing that I found fun is that Bonnie actually is the one that says previously on, which I don't when, in the beginning of the episode with the recap previously on the Vampire Diaries, and I know they switch it off, but that might have been her first one.
I think it is her first one.
And we have a math teacher is honestly the biggest takeaway. I mean, of course there are ghosts, but we also have a math teacher, which I think is important.
Yeah, I had the same note, literally. I love it. All right, we'll move into our next scene called Historical Drama. The location is Mystic Falls High, outside, and then going back inside. So outside, Carolina.
We've got Bon and Eleni and Carolina. Hell yeah.
Okay. Carolina are walking outside of school discussing Bonnie and Caroline's fallout, right? Elena understandably asks why she's mad at Bonnie in the first place, which stems back to Bonnie keeping the necklace and not giving it back to Caroline to then give it to Damon, right? We don't know exactly. The episode doesn't allude to just how much time has passed since Caroline's party, but I mean, it literally could be the next day or a couple of days later. I mean, everything feels fresh.
I have thoughts if it's the next day, but we can maybe talk about that in a later scene because I have thoughts.
There are some things that make me feel like it is the next day, and then there are some things that make me feel like it can't be. So we'll see. But it's definitely fresh, right? Yeah, whatever it is. So then Elena and Caroline switch topics. Caroline asks Elena about Stefan, and she shares how he's been avoiding her, and also says it's complicated before the bell rings, and they part ways. After Elena walks away to go to class, Caroline runs into Matt, and they exchange a pretty awkward hey, which is certainly, as your note put here, more awkward on Caroline's part. But we will talk about this in more detail in a second. Inside school, we then follow Elena back to history class. What? Maybe there's a ghost, Mr. Tanner. The ghost of Mr. Tanner. What?
I didn't think we were going to have one of these episodes tonight, but I'm here for it. The ghost of Mr. Tanner.
We're doing great. End scene. So anyway, Elena goes to history class. Spoiler alert, there is no ghost of Mr. Tanner so far, at least, or anywhere in the show. But, who knows? Maybe that's in our canon that we've created. Bonnie comes into the classroom, runs quickly to her desk before a new teacher walks in. He greets the class and starts writing his name on the board, which is a Lark Saltzman. And he explains to them how to pronounce his name and ends up just telling them to call him Rick. While he's doing that, we pan to Elena and Bonnie exchanging a look, with Elena asking Bonnie if she's okay, and Bonnie just shrugs. We then see Elena turn to the seat next to her and notice that Stefan is not in class. And we also learn a little bit about Mr. Saltzman's I'm history kind of thing. So, some thoughts about this. Do you want to start first, Brenna?
Sure, yeah.
Since I'm on fire tonight.
You are. I'm loving every moment of your fieriness. Yeah, so I am wondering why Caroline is so upset with Bonnie. It might be I don't know if it's part of Damon's compulsion or not, that's just somehow still wired in her to be wanting the necklace. But I know that we had kind of differing feelings from the previous episode of Caroline being upset, and I'm here for Caroline being upset about somehow how both Bonnie and Elena treat her, and we'll definitely talk more on that, but which is valid. But I don't know if the necklace, it was just weird. I mean, I guess because Bonnie was just saying no to giving it back, but I don't know. I just felt I'm come on, girls, we need to let this one go. It's just a necklace that
neither of you want.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it feels very high school, right?
Yeah.
I definitely agree it's time for our girls to make up. I kind of get if I put myself in Caroline's shoes, how she's perceiving it, right? Because she's feeling really alone and abandoned.
Yeah.
And Bonnie not really trying to talk to her, but just being I'm not giving you any information, but I can't give this back to you. Knowing that it's important in Caroline's world to get the necklace back, and also potentially dangerous for her, right? Because Bonnie should know. I mean, Bonnie does know about him biting Caroline and everything.
For sure.
I do feel there's a little bit of everyone, and this was my big point last episode, that I feel Elena and Bonnie are so in what they're dealing with that
true.
Caroline is kind of slipping through the cracks a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but I do agree. It is it's really trivial, and it's just time for the makeup. And I am glad, and we will see this going forward, that Elena's trying to be, the mediator of this. Do we think that Matt's greeting was awkward? I do actually. I think I err more on the side of saying yes than you do.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of, I feel obviously she definitely feels a certain way, and maybe awkward in the sense that it's yes, and this goes back to your point, if depending on whenever this is taking place, if it really is the next day, then that might be a little weird. Or if it is a few days later, maybe not. So
I don't know. I would think it would be weird either way, right? If it's the next morning and you woke up and he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of hey.
Yeah.
And if it's been a few days and you haven't heard anything from him, that also
that
seems
is also
to me
weird. Yeah.
It does seem both nonchalant and also just to not even he won't even look at her.
Yeah. It feels very boy in high school, actually, somehow. Yeah. So I mean, I feel he's just trying to be that evasive because a thing happened between them, and he's trying not to draw attention to it, and that is true.
I also feel we haven't really seen Matt interact in a casual way with many characters, right?
Right. Yeah.
And usually when he's saying hi to someone, it's Elena, and he's falling over her, right? Or looking sad at her. So I don't know how he normally says, hey.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. So, and then obviously the next thing is that we have a new history teacher. So we'll see what the curriculum teaches them next.
Yeah.
And a math teacher. Allegedly.
We have 2 more teachers than we've had in a few episodes. So I'm very, very happy for these students to be getting educated. Moving on to our next scene. That's just like you, Damon. Always have to have the last word. We are at the Salvatore boarding house, and Damon comes to wake up Stefan with a peace offering of coffee to get him going for the day, and Stefan is not having it, and it looks like we've got an ab count update.
We've got like a real juicy ab count because he sits up in bed so you get it from the side, and then he's putting a shirt on and you get, it's just like, literally my note is, good morning to Stefan's abs. Someone put out this fire, please, because your girl is burning up. Literally, I'm watching it with my husband today, and I like paused, and I was like, honey, look at them abs. It's just
He does have good abs.
I
mean.
And it's crazy because we haven't actually had, it was either a last episode or I think it was last episode or the episode before, we got like a side view, but we didn't actually get to see his abs. So it's been, I looked back because I'm tracking our ab counts.
Do you have
for
a separate
both of us.
document for this?
No.
Maybe we need to have one.
Maybe we should. But more recently, we've seen Damon's abs in a very iconic way. And so it's been, I think it was like episode 4, maybe was the last time we had a good Stefan ab. It's not okay. Yeah, holding out on us. But this does make up for the absence. Yeah, certainly.
Because it's pretty. It's a good ab show. But you know who's there to ruin it? Damon. So Damon continues by saying that he was trying to get the town off their backs for the greater good, and he's sorry. And as atonement, he won't feed on a human for a week. And this is just like gets into a really fun exchange between the two of them, but Stefan mocks Damon by saying, because I realize that killing your closest and oldest friend is beyond evil, and yet somehow it's worthy of humor. And the brothers go back and forth, mocking each other and acting as the other brother until Stefan says, through play acting as Damon, that he will reveal his ulterior motive behind his evil and diabolical return to Mystic Falls. Damon drops the act, but not before mocking Stefan one more time, saying, that's just like you, Damon. Always have to have the last word. And they part ways. Yes. So we've got the abs, but Damon feeling guilty. Apology tour, maybe only really to Stefan, but it's like he's doing it in his Damon way, which always makes it feel a little less sincere. So
certainly, but not feeding on people, which we will see. He is actually trying to stick to a Stefan diet for an amount of time. And so like I do, there is some genuine, moments happening and some genuine, I think, atonement. Yeah. I also just really love, and we'll get to see this again later in the episode, but this like brother swap role playing between them. The two of them do such a great job of playing each other, and it adds this fun and humor, this levity to the two of them and their scenes that we don't often get. And I think that's really nice. I think we as the audience need it as much as they do, right? Yeah. Because, I mean, the last episode was horrible.
Yeah.
He killed Stefan's only / best friend on his birthday.
Yep. And then Damon also turned a person. Well, I'm trying to be like his girlfriend only, or I don't know. They've been on and off a lot these last few episodes. We'll talk about it. But like, so Damon killed Stefan's girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, unclears, ex-boyfriend's little sister, who's also her brother's girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I think I got it.
I think you did too. You did a great job. In general, it's just really complicated.
It's really complicated. But, and so, yeah, Damon's been just making some work out here and not really feeling. We know that he has. I know, and I'm being a little hard on him, but like we know he has been feeling sorry, and it is actually. I think it's a way that he says that he's not going to feed on people, which makes it feel a little insincere. But then the fact that he like actually does follow through with it is like sincere. Yeah. And then when they work through it, like this little like play acting thing that they do for the episode, like through the episode, it is you're right. It's exactly the levity we need.
Yeah, that's fun. So moving into our next scene called A Little Garish, but family, We are back at Mystic Falls High. Bonnie tells Elena about her ghostly experience, which Elena fully buys, right, given her own circumstances. And just as a refresher, in the last episode, Bonnie came out of the broom closet, right? She told Elena she's a witch, and Elena believes her, right? So now there's this open line of communication, at least from Bonnie to Elena. Elena has still not told Bonnie about vampires, right? Bonnie continues by saying she thinks she's being haunted by Emily and that she's communicating with her through the medallion and or witch's talisman. Elena brings up that maybe Bonnie should talk to her Grams about it, but Bonnie's worried that Grams is going to tell her to embrace it, and she just wants it to stop. Though I do feel like as we get deeper in the episode, I don't think Grams would be like, keep going with this.
Yeah.
I think Grams would actually be able to help.
Yeah, I think that
But
phoning a Grams might have been a good idea for this episode.
maybe. Inside the school, Alaric is eating lunch in the classroom when Jeremy interrupts, saying that Mr. Saltzman wanted to see him. We learn from Rick that Mr. Tanner had a jackass file, which was mostly an opus to Jeremy. He throws the file away and says Jeremy doesn't need to worry about it. He has a clean slate. But he says that, we got to talk about his grades. And, Jeremy says that it was a rough start, but he's been trying to turn it around. And he's like, yeah, but we're halfway through the semester and like you're failing. So so Alaric offers him an opportunity to do some extra credit by writing a paper on local history, which Jeremy accepts. I will say that the way they script him telling Jeremy what he wants feels so like loosey-goosey to me as a professor whose students often need me to explain things even when it's clearly stated to them. No offense to any students listening to this. I think in general, people just need a lot of direction. And like when Jeremy talks to Jenna about the project later, his grasp on it is honestly different than my interpretation would have been.
Yeah.
So
just maybe we need to be a little clear, especially even because like at the high school level, I feel like they really need it spelled out.
Yes, really, really. So Jeremy then notices that Alaric has this really gaudy ring, right? And it's certainly just as much of a statement piece as the Salvatore brothers. Alaric appreciates the compliment and says it was his father's, but he goes on to say, like, it's a little garish family, hence the title of the scene. Outside, Caroline and Matt say hey to each other again, which is not good enough for Caroline. So she confronts him and she's like, what's hey about? And so she says to him, he slept in her bed. He left in the morning without saying bye, like he snuck out. And she calls that a lame guy move, which I agree. Lame guy move. She then goes on to say how she's not going to let guys mess with her head anymore. Obviously, that is a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to Damon, right? Matt clarifies that he heard Caroline's mom the next morning, and she's the sheriff, right? So he snuck out the window, and that, he's been saying hey to Caroline every day since the first grade. Her trying to read something into it is a lame girl move. Elena then exits school and sees Stefan outside. Because remember, he's not in class. He lets Elena know that he did not, in fact, kill his brother, but that he's.
It's just like the fact that's it's like, okay, good. Like,
well, she literally is like a text that he didn't kill your brother would have sufficed,
It's true.
And he's like, I didn't kill my brother. But he's decided he's not going to go to school anymore. So he's trying to put distance between them, which she reads. She's upset, but she thanks him for telling her. And he says, because she's clearly upset, he's like, good, it'll be easier if you hate me. Then in a different part of outside of Mystic Falls High, Bonnie is hurrying to her car when Damon confronts her about Emily's necklace again and how he wants it back. He continues by saying he's trying to help her, but she insists that she does not want his help. He then calls her a little witch and says how he wants to help her because she's gotten herself into something that she needs to stumble out of. He also says he can get Emily off her back, which raises Bonnie's suspicions about him knowing about her ancestor. Damon continues saying how he knows Emily is getting inside of Bonnie's head. He notices how scared she is and tells her that he'll get the necklace eventually, and for Bonnie to tell Emily that a deal's a deal. All right. Big scene.
Yeah, big scene.
Big scene at the high school, right? We've talked a lot in the last few episodes, so we're not really spending a lot of time at school, and we are back at school. We've got teachers. We are kind of in class, and we are definitely in the hallways and outside.
Yeah, I mean, that was the bit when I was doing kind of my deep dive watch and just be like, oh wow, we're like really here, like we are really here at the high school, and it's in a way it is like refreshing in a way just to like remind all of us that these are in fact high school, or the majority of our cast are high school students, and I thought it was like good utility of the space and being able to kind of go between all the different groups of people, right?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I do have to say that from Beyond the Grave, Mr. Tanner continues to be the absolute worst. All of my quote-unquote jackass files for students are strictly confidential, and by that, I mean I only share them with my husband.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you don't want to be having that just lying around.
Paper trail of that.
Yeah. Like, or at least like keep it not at your in your desk. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're on suspicious ring watch once more.
This episode's really, it's like, who's this stranger?
Yeah. It's just very, I mean, yeah, like you were saying, I mean, it does not look identical to the brothers, but it is a statement ring. And I'm excited to learn more about that.
Yeah. I also say that while I don't totally agree with her delivery, I do actually really applaud Caroline for saying something, because I don't think as a high school girl I would have. And I get where Matt's coming from, but I do think there's something worth reading into.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't think her spidey senses are off.
Yeah, I mean, he was cuddling in her bed with his shoes on.
Don't remind me.
There's some on that alone. He deserves to be confronted. Wait, did she also have her shoes on? I forget.
No, he takes her shoes. He takes her shoes off. And then she's like, don't go. And then he's like, okay. And he climbs in. Take your sneakers off, bro.
Oh, God. It's just, oh, my God. But yeah, no, I agree. I'm with you on this. Like, I'm glad that she said something.
Yeah.
Damon?
He loves just the, like...
It's just like he loves a close stroke. It's so weird.
She is a minor and you are an adult on campus, and I'm like, where's anyone from school?
Where are our math and history teachers? Where are they? Aren't they like supposed to be? Don't like teacher like high school teachers are around, like kind of scanning the school like after school lets out a little bit. Maybe not.
There is no mistaking that he is harassing her.
Yeah,
and that she is uncomfortable,
and he does not belong there.
Right? Yeah.
So I mean, you know what? I have a feeling that maybe Alaric would, if he had known. Maybe if he had been out there, maybe. I don't know. He just seems like that kind of guy. Just saying.
He does. And also, as we'll learn in a couple scenes, he is thinking about his first impression on his new day. His first day. I do feel like, for me, it feels like a little bit of a jump that Damon went from being like, why does the necklace do that? Like burning Caroline, to then like knowing everything about the necklace, knowing that Emily is in Bonnie's head, like all this stuff. Like, obviously we know he knows about the crystal because he's orchestrated this whole thing to
Right.
get it. But it seems like, how did he not put some pieces together? And now all of a sudden he's like, she's a witch. I'm like, didn't you understand that? Like, when you heard her last name was Bennett?
Yeah.
Which will be even more confusing when we learned something at the end of the episode.
Yeah. It's definitely confusing.
Okay.
I think you're onto something there. It's maybe, and I don't know, maybe it was something a matter of like they maybe didn't have it all fully worked out
Yeah,
with like
probably
with the necklace and what they were going to do. Like they probably knew they were going to do something with it, and then maybe just weren't entirely sure. So, and because it was introduced in episode 4. Right, because that's at Family Ties, so that's so he gets it then, and we're at episode 9. So, I mean, there's definitely a chance that that's part of it, but it is kind of like crazy where he does like just have all this extra knowledge now.
Right?
Was he reading some journals in the house? Was he reading some of Stefan's journals?
Maybe Zach had a ledger or something.
I feel like, you know what, he probably did.
He probably did.
Uncle, cousin, nephew, gone but never forgotten. Okay, so on to our next scene. You can't just throw your problems away, Bonnie. Location is Bonnie's car. Bonnie, I was about to say Bonnie and Elaine. Oh, shit. Bonnie and I said it right, but in my head it went to Bonnie and Elaine. Bonnie and Elena are driving in Bonnie's car, and she's sharing with Elena that Damon's bad news and that he scared her, and Elena encourages Bonnie to stay away from him, and Bonnie is trying.
She really is.
Elena says she doesn't want Bonnie to be alone tonight and suggests that she sleeps over at her house. And out of nowhere, as they're kind of driving, Bonnie just pulls off the side of the road, takes the talisman, and then just chucks it into a wide open field. And she returns to the car saying that she feels better about ditching the jewel, despite Elena asking what Grams would like think about that or say about this. And just so wild for this to be like, well, one, I think just the throwing the magical item into a field is some crazy work right there. I mean,
and it's a trope that we see in horror or other kind of like magical stories, and it never goes away. Yeah. Like it's not how it works. But good try.
Yeah, like that's, but it's because as soon as I watched the episode for the first time, I was like, oh, my sweet summer child, it's coming back.
Also, I love like any other time we've seen Bon and Elaine driving places from school, they've been in town and they're like on this country road.
Like, where is
this? And I'm like, where are they going? Like, it looks beautiful, but like, where are they going? I have some thoughts. I also feel like this would be a really good moment for Elena to tell Bonnie about like, you should stay away from Damon because he is a vampire. Stefan is also a vampire, but Damon is a dangerous one. Like,
this would have been the moment. And it's so, I'm still a little confused on why Elena feels like she can, like, I think we talked about this there's really like nothing actually stopping her from like, I mean, other than I guess respecting Stefan, which is like nice, but
they're not even like really together right now. So like whatever.
Exactly. I feel like all bets are off. I feel like you could tell her. So yeah, I don't know.
I agree. All right. Our next scene, I like a man who can dine alone, a quiet strength. We're at the Mystic Grill. Jenna and Jeremy are at the grill, and she spots Alaric Saltzman across the way from them reading, which is where our scene title comes from. Jeremy is doing his homework at the table, and he says he thought that Jenna was still depressed over Logan, but she says that doesn't mean she can't observe men from a safe distance. Jeremy says he can introduce her. She shakes her head no.
Just some fun stuff over here. I mean, I really genuinely love like that line of a man who can die alone or die. A quiet strength of man. A quiet strength of man who could die alone. Okay, we're doing so good today.
But a man who can dine alone. But quiet strength.
Dine alone.
Dine like your last name.
Dine alone. But speaking of dining alone, just like reading or hanging out in bar restaurants by yourself, like what are your feelings on that? Like, is that a thing that you have done, would do? Like, how do you feel?
It's something I have done. It's not something I do super often. I think it's in part because I think it's just like a femme thing of I don't feel super comfortable like being in a bar alone. Like it's very different, I feel like, for Alex to just like go sit at a bar or whatever. But, you know, there are some places that are like close to the shop or like I've been going to for a really long time that, you know, or depending on the time of day is fine for me. I mean, I'm also like, I go to bed early, so it's not like I'm like raging.
Yeah.
But there's a wine bar across the street from the store.
Love it. Barcelona. We love you.
I've only done it once, and there's a reason I only did it once, but there was like one time I was coming in, we had coverage for the store during the day, but I had a book club, and Alex was like, why don't you go in a little bit early, get yourself like some dinner, you know, you can bring a book to read. And so like I went in at like 3:00. I will say that my server was lovely and was all about joining book club, which they still haven't, rude, but was giving me large pours. And I was like, it is not dark out yet, and I'm a little drunk. And then there's like my favorite tap room by the store that if like a class or a date night or something is happening at the bookstore, I totally feel comfortable because I also know all of the staff to like go get a table, read a book. But I definitely feel like you need to have like an activity because otherwise it just like, it does feel awkward to me.
Yeah.
And I also, you know, like if you have a great server, bartender, et cetera, like, and you want to chat with them, fine. But I usually am like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I think I share your feelings on, I just, as like femme folks, like I don't like, I feel like people do approach, like I'm like one of those people, I don't know, maybe this happens to you, like I am definitely one of those people where people will just like ask me for directions like off the side of the street. Like true, it happens a lot, like where people will just stop me and be like, hey, do you know where this is? Or like, so I already like have like a history of being like approached at random, and which is great, and maybe that means I don't know, maybe I have a good vibe, that'd be cool, that would be nice, but I still don't want that to be like a come one, come all, because especially in like a bar restaurant setting, I know it's going to be somebody, usually a man, that I do not want to talk to.
Right.
And I definitely have had moments where I've been alone briefly, like maybe waiting for somebody like at a bar or something, and it literally takes not a lot of time for like someone to be weird. And so I
zero time for someone to be weird.
It takes zero time for somebody to be weird. And so that on that I don't, but I like the idea of it. Like I think there's like, we have some friends, like our friend Kevin, he does that a lot. And I love that he does. And I wish and maybe I can. And maybe I just need to find my like local bar haunt where I can feel comfortable and like know the staff enough to like feel comfortable doing that. But I like the idea of it. And actually, funnily enough, one of the first reasons I like noticed who Dwight was before we started like actually talking to each other, because Dwight and I met at work. He during lunch he would like sit down in this like common area and like read a book, and that was like one of the first times I noticed him. So I like Jenna also do like a man that's just kind of like hanging out at a bar, restaurant, eating area, dining alone, because he would be eating his lunch but also reading, and I'm like, I want to know what he's reading, and oh look, he looks kind of cute. So I do like it. I just would need some other things in place, which I think that, you know, you kind of covered too. So all right, on to our next scene. Stefan and Elena connect the dots. Important stuff here. Gilbert I'm so tongue-tied today. What is it? Okay. We're at the Gilbert residence. Elena runs to answer the door at her house, and it's Stefan. Bonnie's also inside at Elena's, but Elena goes out to talk to him. She says she wouldn't have bothered him if it wasn't important, and tells him about the necklace and Damon threatening Bonnie. She shares that Bonnie got it from Caroline, who got it from Damon, and now Damon wants it back. Stefan asks, why would Damon want the necklace? And Elena shares with him how the necklace is connected to Bonnie's heritage, to an ancestor who lived in Mystic Falls during the Civil War. She immediately, and good on her for this, yay, Elena, realizes that Stefan and Damon were also alive at this time too, so she points that out. And then Stefan, connecting the dots, says that it's Emily, who was Catherine's handmaiden and a witch. Elena's surprised that he knows about Bonnie, but he says he made the connection when they all had dinner together, and that was back in episode 3 for Friday Night Bites, I believe. And then he asks Elena what the necklace looks like, and she says it's an antique with an iron setting, and Stefan completes the description with an amber crystal and goes on to say that that was Catherine's necklace and that Emily gave it to her. But before finishing his sentence, he says that he's going to talk to Damon or get it out of him. So, you know what? Oftentimes in these teen shows, my like top thought after like going through the scene is that we're communicating and we're figuring out facts.
Yes.
Because that's such a common trope where like people are not fully communicating, so we miss things. And this is one of those moments where we're connecting the dots.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see that. We also finally have confirmation that the crystal is amber. I even wore an amber ring today.
Cute.
And for those who are interested, just some kind of quick associations for amber. Amber symbolizes clarity, protection, emotional balance, and spiritual healing, connecting the wearer to nature and ancient wisdom.
I love the ancient wisdom.
The ancient wisdom I really love too, and I think you can see how these might be connecting her to an ancestor. Just the last thing I want to say that I think it was because I've watched this episode, like literally watched it 2 times in a row today. One, like finishing my deep dive, and then just kind of a watch through where I was like giving commentary, popping off about stuff with Alex, is that we were like, as Stefan saying, you know, like, was Catherine's handmaiden and witch, I'm like, and her slave? Like they don't really talk about the fact that these folks are servant. Are they free people of color? Are they slaves? And that is an important thing to remember, that in 1864, she certainly wasn't necessarily there because she wanted to be there.
Yeah.
So it's just an important thing to mention. I was like,
for sure. Yeah.
There's like a part you're leaving out, Stefan.
They do this a lot in this show.
They do this constantly.
And we will eventually at some point in time. I think our plan is to have some more like information, like to talk about this in a more, you know, maybe bring Joe or somebody like when we and talk more about some stuff, because I feel like it's get like an expert in here to talk about it, because it's just crazy that we're glossing over it.
Yes.
So,
yes. Our next scene is There's Nothing Better Than Family History Stuff, and we are back at the grill. So Jenna and Jeremy are discussing Jeremy's history paper that he has a really clear sense on, and I'm surprised. Jenna notes that he should look through some of the family history that's boxed up in the closet that connects the Gilbert family to coming over on the Mayflower. I think that's really cool, but I'm also like, Jeremy, why aren't you thinking about your family history when, you know, the watch and the other heirlooms that we talked about specifically for episode 4? Alaric then approaches them at the table, and Jeremy introduces Aunt Jenna. She thanks him for giving Jeremy another chance. They are making eyes at each other, and Jeremy is a little disgusted, as I would be.
His face is pretty funny because he's like...
It is, yeah. Across the grill at the bar, Damon is drinking, and Stefan approaches. He once again is role-playing as Damon, saying they should give the whole brother thing a chance. Damon responds as Stefan in role-play, saying how Damon is so mean and kills everyone. He eventually drops the act. Stefan orders a coffee, and we learn that Damon is in fact making good on giving up human blood for the time being and is curbing his cravings with alcohol, which we learned from Lexi in the last episode, our tequila shot queen, R.I.P. He then tells Stefan he doesn't have to keep an eye on him, and Stefan says he isn't. So Damon asks why Stefan's there, and he says why not, and he takes the bottle away from him / the bar, and they go off. Thoughts?
I know it's early, but I am aboard the Jenna Alaric ship because that means it's not Scumville, and that is important to me.
Oh, I mean, that like 1,000%. And I really like Alaric, you know, as we get to learn about him more, get to know him better. Yeah. There's obviously instant sparks, instant chemistry, but I do really feel like maybe Jenna, don't immediately jump on your nephew's teacher, especially when Jeremy is just starting to like try to turn things around. I do think...
Don't make it weird.
I do think it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
And just like not very paternal of her.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, it is kind of like, don't, Jenna.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jenna, but sometimes it's like, girl.
Yeah.
She's definitely like a relationship girly, I feel.
She's definitely a relationship girly. I also like, so Alex was like, she's wearing so much makeup. I was like, yeah, and look at like how perfectly done her hair is. And I was like, what PhD student has time to look like that? I was like, and also is seemingly never at school and or studying.
Did Caroline help her?
Caroline had to have helped her.
I think
Caroline's hair is perfecly curled. This entire episode is flawless.
Oh my gosh.
She
truly
deserves more than a hey for that hair. Maybe like 2 finger guns.
Hey.
You know who's also missing again? Tyler. I feel like Tyler would maybe give her a finger gun.
He absolutely would be a finger gun, but like try to do it in like a Danny Zuko cool way.
Yeah,
like, hey.
it would be cool.
But it's still Tyler. Oh my God. So it's interesting that Damon's making good on the promise to not have human blood, but like Stefan doesn't actually like care about this. Like he's not interested in that, but they are having this like still like this more lighthearted thing, which is good, and they're working through their issues, it seems.
Yes,
but
certainly.
it's still also I don't know if I would feel like wanting to be this playful just after my brother killed my best and only friend.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I think part of why Stefan doesn't really give a shit that Damon's not drinking human blood and stuff like that is because there's nothing you can do to actually like him not feeding on humans for a week isn't going to bring Lexi back. No. But I do agree that it is like how are you being like this? But I do really love them getting along. Yeah. They are actually the relationship I ship in the show. Yeah. They are the relationship I care the most about for the entire series. Sure. And I know it is a show that's about romance and love triangles and soulmates and all of that. But I truly feel like the core relationship is the brothers in the show. 100%. And that will become even clearer as the show goes on. And so I just want our boys to get along. Yeah. Even if they like kind of hate each other, but like still this fun banter. Like you can throw, knives at each other. Yeah. But then play football. And drink bourbon.
Yeah. I just want you to have a fun time together, guys. So my other question is, Stefan, why did you, a 17-year-old in the eyes of Mystic Falls currently, just swipe a full bottle of bourbon from the bar? Did they not get a new bartender from last time? And who was looking after this bar? I mean, there was a bartender.
Yeah, I think what's happening? I think Alex was right that it was just going to be business as usual at the Mystic.
That's
grill
just the guy that
day.
They took away. He was back there the next day.
He's just working back, yeah.
Like, that's just crazy to me.
That place should be shut down.
Like, I know that Stefan, and I feel like there's going to be something, because I feel like I'm starting to, like, not be able to unsee this with, like, Stefan not quite looking like a true 17-year-old, just in general, as, like, Paul Leslie just looks more mature. So,
yeah.
When we were watching this as, like, young folks, like, I totally bought it, and now as I'm older, I'm like, it's kind of hard to buy this a little bit, but not really, but, like, I'm like, okay, well, maybe they just thought he was old enough to, like, swipe it. But I'm like, but no, because he is 17. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just have questions.
Yeah.
Okay. On to our next scene. If you want the ugly-ass necklace, it's yours. We're back at the Gilbert residence. Elena, Bonnie, and Caroline are at Elena's, and they are having a sleepover. After a few awkward glances and urging from Elena, Caroline apologizes to Bonnie about the necklace, but not in a super apologetic way. Bonnie then tells Caroline that she threw the necklace away, which upsets Caroline, but once Elena brings it up that she was going to give it to Damon, they diffuse it. They talk about doing manicures, and Caroline goes to get Bonnie's kit from her bag when she finds the necklace. Elena and Bonnie are both freaked. Caroline accuses Bonnie of lying to her. Then Elena tells Caroline that she saw Bonnie throw the necklace into the field, and Bonnie says that to Elena that it's the ghost, Emily, and wonders why she won't leave her alone. Caroline interjects because she feels left out and names it, rightfully. Elena says they don't leave her out of conversations, but Bonnie confirms that they do. Good on you, Bonnie. And that she can't tell Caroline anything because she doesn't listen. And Caroline immediately, of course, denies this and says she does listen. But then when Bonnie tells her right in quick succession that she's a witch, Caroline writes it off, which upsets Bonnie, and she walks away. So, whew, these girlies. I mean, I am really glad that Caroline, I know she can be like tough at times, and we've talked about this even from like the first episode, but I do really love her ability to just name things and be very honest. And
yeah, she's not subtle.
She is not subtle, and like that can be to her benefit or detriment depending, but like I do like that she calls it out that like they leave her out of stuff. And then I also like, even though, you know, Caroline and Bonnie have been at odds, that Bonnie confirms this with Elena. Like Elena tries to be like no, like it's fine, like the peacekeeper, like no, we don't. And then Bonnie's like, yeah, we do. And then Bonnie does give an honest and genuine response as to why. And I mean, Bonnie kind of proves her right, but then I feel like you did have a good point to like Bonnie sharing this information. So
yeah. So I mean, I love seeing relationship dynamics being unearthed. I don't know about you, but I've certainly been the third wheel in a friendship, and it's hurtful.
It is,
you know. And I 1,000% agree. Caroline needs to improve her listening skills, but I will say that Bonnie just being like, "You never listen," and then going, "I'm a witch," period.
Yeah.
Isn't the best way to like get Caroline to listen to her. Like, I don't actually fault Caroline's for like snapping back at her in that moment, because I feel like there should be a little more lead up.
Maybe like start the manicures first. Like maybe get started, and then maybe like work our way up to I'm a witch. Maybe.
We also learn in the next scene with the girls. It's not really a spoiler, that Caroline specifically says she is a non-believer in all like woo things. So if you've been friends since you were 5 years old, why do you think that's, I just feel like you can't expect someone to know where you're coming from without meeting them where they are, right?
Yeah.
And so I am glad that some things are coming to light. So our next scene, cold cases, come-ons, and darting the truth.
Dun, dun, dun.
We are back at the grill. Jenna approaches and joins Alaric, who is still sitting at the bar. And she says that Jeremy ditched her. He ditched her to go home and do homework. Like, Alaric asks if Jenna is a townie, and she says she's a returnee, and shares that she left town for school, but also left town over a guy, Logan Scumfell. She gives him the rundown of their relationship. She then asks if he has any sad relationship stories, and he says that he fell in love, married young, and that his wife died, which leaves Jenna feeling awkward. I mean, as it would.
Yeah.
She then asks what happened, after Alaric jokes.
Very direct.
I know. This whole thing is very direct. After Alaric jokes that this story is usually a conversation stopper, but since she asked, he tells her that his wife's death is a cold case. She lightens the mood by asking why he moved here, and he said for a change of scenery, and that there's rich history in Mystic Falls. Across the restaurant, Damon and Stefan are playing darts. Stefan is beating Damon and is still putting on a Damon-esque front, which Damon calls out and asks what game Stefan's playing, to which Stefan responds by saying that he's been trying to ask Damon the same thing for months and that it's frustrating not knowing what he's up to, which Damon says. Touche. Certainly very forward of our girl Jenna.
Yeah, like, good for you for like striking up a conversation and like having that. But again, I think going back to your earlier like statement on just maybe not getting involved with your not child, but like the child, your ward, Is that how you like? What is like you do? Because it's like like your guardian, but then what are is it ward or
I think so.
but
That's the word that came to mind.
or no nephew that she looks after?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe is a choice, but there are a lack of adults in this town sometimes, so maybe
Yes, there certainly are. I also was just thinking about this as I was talking about the scene, that so far, so much of Jenna's character is built around who she's dating.
I know.
And I really don't like that.
I don't want
Like we said, we never see her at school. We don't really see her studying. She's always like super done up. They had her, I think it was last episode, she had this like crazy fake eyelashes on. And then she's just like going from guy to guy, and there's more to her than that. And I would like more explanation of
more from Jenna
of who she is. Yeah.
She's not just Aunt Mom.
No.
She's more than that. Aunt Mom who dates. She's Aunt Mom who's
trying to get a PhD. I don't even know what in.
Oh, well, I think in this is it in this episode where she says something about, maybe it's not, I don't know, about psychology? Is it?
Oh, yeah, I think it is psychology. I think you're right.
I might be remembering that, or it might have been briefly mentioned in the episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, next scene. Emily, you there? Oh, man. Okay. So Caroline apologizes to Bonnie, and while she's not very into the woo-woo stuff, she says that if it's real to Bonnie, she's on board, and she says that she's her best friend. She goes on to tell Bonnie that Caroline, is listening now and gives her the necklace back. Elena comes in to join them, and Caroline suggests that they do a séance because this Emily chick has some serious explaining to do. And the girls move up to Elena's room to do the séance, with them gathering in a circle, holding hands around some candles. Caroline helps everyone get in the zone by closing their eyes and taking a deep breath. And for Bonnie, who is now wearing the necklace, to call out to Emily. Bonnie says, "Emily, you there?" And both Elena and Caroline react to her casual tone, trying to contact our ancestor. It's honestly so fun. Like the way they both stop and are like, what?
Like peel their eyes open.
Yeah, they're like, huh? And then Caroline is like, I said something being like, is that the best you got? Or something like that. And so she prompts her to try again. And when Bonnie calls out to Emily more seriously, the lights flicker and everyone notices. Caroline starts shivering from a temperature drop, but Bonnie says it's just the air conditioning. It's
on in the middle of November?
In November, I don't think so. But then the candle flames just get larger, which is honestly to me also a really big sign. Like the candle flames are going crazy. And then Caroline tells Bonnie to have Emily show her a sign, but then Caroline just ends up doing it to ask Emily to show them. Again, like I said, the flames are kind of a big tell, but okay, more visual cues or auditory cues. And at first it's quiet, but then the windows burst open and Bonnie gets definitely freaked out, takes off the necklace, throws it down towards the candles, which then blow out, and like all the light, because only the candles were illuminating the room, so it's dark. She calls out for Elena or Caroline to get the light, and Elena gets the lights back on. When the light turns on, necklace is missing. I think Emily there is very funny.
It is, yes, absolutely. We get a little séance basics. I do love how Caroline, who admits that she's like not into woo stuff, she's a non-believer, that she takes this seriously and she's leading it. And she's just
like meant to be she's just meant to be a leader, you know.
She is.
She's direct.
She does a great job, and we will be talking more about séances in our folklore section, including a séance that we did together. It's gonna be a fun section to jump into later. I also wanted to say, now I feel like there's always sleepover games, and I feel like nothing says sleepover like a séance. So I don't think I ever did a séance specifically during a sleepover, but I did do some other like fun games like light as a feather, stiff as a board. So I was curious, Brenna, what games did you play at sleepovers growing up?
Oh, I did do a séance, and actually, had to have been elementary, middle school. But when Mr. Rogers passed away, my friend Nicole and I decided to do a séance, and we tried to just check in on him to see if he was okay.
That's so sweet.
It was, and
Did you get a sign?
so from what I remember from when I was a small person, so we did have a candle, and the flame was definitely like doing a little like flickering, and we did notice like a slight temperature drop. And creepy was that there was like a little rocking chair that was in our like in the basement. We were at my dad's house, and there was a little rocking chair in the basement, and we could have sworn it was like definitely moving, like just like gently, like. And I don't know, maybe I don't know if the windows were open. I don't think the windows were open. I don't even remember when we actually were doing this, if like, but we saw it. Then also I had like unsurprising. I had, of course, even at that age, I did have like a toy box, but also had like a bunch of costumes in it, not that different from my adult life. And I had a lot of feather boas.
Of course.
And there was like some feather boa, like feathers like scattered around. Like this was after we turned on the light, because we did get freaked. Like we got like a little deep into it, and then we got a little freaked out, and so we turned on the light, and like very similar to how they respond. So yes, I have done that, and also did Bloody Mary as well. So, that's a good one. What about you, other than light as a feather?
Yeah. Never did a seance. I don't know if we did Bloody Mary. I feel like what I remember the most doing it, especially in high school, was I had two best friends that I hung out a lot with, like Bonna Laney and Caroline. And because I grew up dancing, I had like a ton of costumes. And so we would usually like make something for dinner and like wear crazy costumes and like dance. Or I got a MacBook in high school, and we'd like do all the different
Photoshop.
or
not in Photoshop,
we do
like photo booth.
Yeah, a lot. I feel like a lot of sleepovers in high school was us like getting all done up, putting on a crazy outfit, and taking photos. A lot of duck face. But then, like, I also had a pool. So, if it was nice out, we'd be swimming in the pool. We might be playing Manhunt or something outside.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I was trying to think. I also do actually own a Ouija board, which we have.
Sure do.
And we'll talk about it a little later, like just about, because we did use it in a seance. So I have also used a Ouija board like through the years. I definitely used it in high school as well. But, which again, I don't know if it was necessarily a sleepover, but we were messing around with that stuff, and we have thoughts about that, so we'll talk about that later.
Let's talk about it later. Moving into our next scene called Brothers Bonding, we are at Mystic Falls High. It's at night, so from the grill, Stefan and Damon have gone to the high school, to the football field. They're throwing around a football. Damon tells Stefan to not forget who taught him how to play this game. We still don't know if, like, there's a new coach or if the football team's going, if Stefan's still a star or not, but, questions.
Stefan's not in school anymore.
Oh, that's true. That's true, but who knows? Anyway, Damon hurls the ball. They both run for it. Stefan tackles Damon to the ground. It's actually like really cute. He tells Damon that a downside, because Damon's like, wow, that hurts. And Stefan's like, yep, that's the downside of the animal diet, right? Like, it does actually hurt a little bit when you get hit. Damon continues to say he's impressed with his brother having fun drinking booze, playing darts and football. And now they're on their backs looking at the stars. It's like almost romantic, right? It is. And finally, Damon asks Stefan what he wants. Stefan tries to have a heart-to-heart with his brother and says that their love for Catherine was never real. She compelled them, and that it took him years to sort that out. Damon pats Stefan on the leg and says they're not taking this on tonight. Fair. And as Damon walks away, Stefan asks him what he wants with Catherine's crystal. Damon's surprised that Stefan knows about the crystal. And he says he should have known that Elena told him about it. Damon then asks how he knew it was Catherine's, because he was the last person to see Catherine that final night in 1864. And Stefan corrects him, saying that he was the last person who saw her. And while he didn't know the importance of the necklace, that was because he and Catherine had other things on their mind. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This This pisses Damon off.
Of course.
And he comes right up to Stefan and says that he could rip Stefan's heart out and not think twice about it. And Stefan's like, yeah, bro. We've heard it before, right?
Honestly, great stuff from Stefan on that. Just being like,
yeah. Sure. I'm shaking in my boots. As Damon leaves the field, he says he has a bigger surprise for Stefan and reveals that his big plan is to bring Catherine back.
Oh, snap.
I mean,
That's huge.
As IMDb's synopsis said, it is a stunning reveal.
A stunning reveal.
It is a stunning reveal. Thoughts about this scene?
I mean, the brothers bonding and that title being a call out to their actual like bourbon that is called Brothers Bond. Delicious. We've talked about it before. But they are hanging out. And even, again, as we've been saying through the episode, they have a lot of things they're working through. Things aren't great, but it seems like they are in their own way trying to work through this. And then which does ultimately lead to Stefan trying to actually have a genuine moment. And it's a bummer that Damon doesn't really like take it, but then he does. But Damon gives something else, which is finally revealing what's going on.
Yes.
So
yes, I love it.
So our next scene, P is for possession. We're back at the Gilbert residence. So Elena just calling out, thinking Caroline took the necklace and that she spooked them. She tells Elena, and then Caroline says that she didn't take it, and which is like. Honestly, so rude of Elena just accusing Caroline right away. I mean, I don't know.
God, it's literally in my thoughts. Like, what the fuck?
But yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. But then Elena, as they're kind of working that out, she sees like a figure swoosh by the door in the background, and she thinks it's Jeremy, so she goes to assess, and the house is dark. The whole house. Bonnie and Caroline are still in Elena's room, and Bonnie spots the crystal inside the bathroom and calls it to the other girl's attention. She goes in there to retrieve it, and the doors close on her. Emily is keeping her locked inside as all three girls are understandably freaking out. Bonnie keeps calling to them for help, and Elena goes to try the other door, and the lights are flickering in the hallway. The door finally opens to Bonnie holding her head in her hands. She lifts up her hands slowly with a complete change of expression and tells Elena and Caroline that she's fine. She's definitely not fine. Caroline accuses Bonnie of faking all of it, and Elena tries to interject, but Caroline says that Bonnie scared the hell out of her and walks away, and Elena remains to ask if Bonnie's okay. She says she's fine. Everything's fine. And we catch a glimpse of Bonnie's reflection, which is not Bonnie at all. It's Emily. So we are, Bonnie is possessed by...
P is for possession.
P is for possession. And thankfully, Elena, she's not buying it. She immediately is sensing the change.
She's on it.
She's on it this episode.
I'm glad. I couldn't take any more. So I have to say, it's really, as you mentioned, it's really rude of Elena to immediately blame Caroline for taking the necklace. And I think that this sadly shows how Elena sees Caroline.
Yeah.
And then dismissing it without apologizing or explaining anything. There's some stuff that's messed up in this relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
Which like we already knew from just the way that Bonnie and Elena talk about Caroline.
Yeah.
But it is something that I will continue to be tracking.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially as we get deeper into the episode and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, they just got through all of that stuff, and it's like, Elena, what are we doing? Like, don't be accusatory right in the moment. And also, you are aware that like freaky stuff happens at this point. Like
Caroline's the only one who doesn't know that magic is real.
Yeah, like Elena has more background in the supernatural
than either
both of them. So I'm like, girl, what are we doing? But all that to say, great horror work in this section again.
Absolutely.
I really, really was loving the horror. The girls freaking out. They are really just screaming, and it's fun. It's very believable and fun.
It's super fun. Our next scene, comets, crystals, and the one that got sealed in a tomb.
That's a good one. When I read that today, I was like,
Some
you
of them
crushed it.
gave me a lot of trouble, but thank you. The location is Mystic Falls High. Stefan and Damon are still together, and Stefan asks Damon how he can bring Catherine back. Damon asks if Stefan remembers before Catherine and the others were burned in the church, what people were like, and by people he means, the residents of Mystic Falls. And we learn from Stefan that there was a lot of fear and hysteria in the town. Damon continues by saying that Mystic Falls was killing vampires one by one, and that he went to Emily for help to protect Catherine. Emily made good on this and used the crystal to protect Catherine while the church was burning. So people thought she was inside, and the truth is she was, but she was actually in a tomb underneath the church. The spell sealed Catherine inside, protecting her, but also imprisoning her. Stefan asks if Catherine's alive, and Damon's like, with a snide remark, I mean, if that's what he wants to call it, right? Because she's been in a mystical holding cell for the last century and a half. And based off of what Stefan tried to do to Damon, he asks how he thinks she's doing, right? Like, she's got to be fully desiccated, shut down, right?
Absolutely.
Damon continues telling Stefan that witches can use celestial events to draw energy into their magic, that Emily used the comet in 1864 that was passing overhead to do the spell. And in order for the crystal to work again, the comet had to come back, right? Which we just had a few episodes ago. Stefan asks why Emily did this for Damon, and Damon says because she knew they were going to come for her too, and she made him promise to protect her lineage. So Damon saved Emily's children in the fire, and this is why he hasn't hurt Bonnie to get the crystal back, because, as he puts it, a deal's a deal.
Woo! We're finally getting some real stuff about what's going on, and I am seated for learning the further lore of all of this, and just the fact that Catherine is buried in this tomb.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I'm excited. But one major thing, just a little nit I'd like to pick. I love this that Damon's giving us some magical background here in this scene where he's saying that witches can harness magic from celestial events. Facts. We do that as witches. These are facts. However, if the comet was a few episodes back, and by a few episodes back, our second episode, right? I think that's the second episode.
I think so.
So that's been a little bit. Been a little bit of time.
Yeah, it could be upwards of 2 months.
Yes, because he does say for the last couple months, Stefan's been trying to figure out what Damon's been up to. So, wouldn't releasing Catherine need to be done closer to when the comet was visible? Because there's a little bit of a delay in time here. So I need to know, what do you think about this? What do we all think about this? If you have thoughts on this, definitely shoot us an email at hellosisterpodcast1864@gmail.com.
Yeah, it does feel like if you needed to wait for this very specific celestial event that only happens every 145 years, that wouldn't it need to happen the day of the comet?
That's what I would do.
It's a real question, Brenna. Real question. I also just want to add that given that Damon promised to protect the Bennett line, that he would have and should have keyed in on why he couldn't just take the crystal from Bonnie sooner immediately, right? There are some continuity issues.
It's definitely some continuity stuff going on here. But hey, you know what? At least we're getting more information about what's actually what Damon's plans are and what's actually happening with Catherine. So that's fun, at least. All right, moving right along. And this concludes the séance, or does it? In our next scene, we're back at the Gilbert residence. And Elena is still asking Bonnie if she's okay, and Caroline is pissed that Bonnie played a joke on them, or thinking that Bonnie played a joke on them. Bonnie says she has to go, and Caroline says that if Bonnie's leaving, she's leaving, and Elena says neither of them can leave, but both of them are not having it. Caroline is sassy after having too much fake witch stuff, and then Bonnie/Emily says, thanks to Elena for having her and that she can take it from here, and starts to leave. Elena is confused by this and asks where she's going, and Bonnie/Emily reply, back to where it all began. Elena starts calling after Bonnie, who is really power walking down the stairs. Definitely.
It's so funny.
It is really power walking. It sure is. And eventually, Elena, again, on this, calls out to Emily. And Emily in Bonnie's body says she can't let him have it. It needs to be destroyed. So she walks out the door, magically seals it so the girls can't follow her, which kind of creates a little bit more tension, like horror tension.
Mhm.
And moments later, it does open, but it's Jeremy who walks in, and Elena and Caroline both kind of go like, because it's just kind of funny. But they're very revved up from before, and Jeremy's just confused and just disinterested in whatever they're up to.
Yeah.
Caroline, who is rightfully freaked out, says that she's out of there and leaves, and Elena gets her phone to call Stefan, who was still with Damon at the school, and tells him that Emily's possessing Bonnie and that she won't let him have the necklace and it needs to be destroyed. And Stefan asks where it went, and at first Elena says she doesn't know, and then she says Fell's Church, because that's where Emily's been taking Bonnie in her dreams. Damon overhears the entire conversation with his vampiring.
Of course.
Stefan says he's going to help her, or he's going to help and go find her, and go find Bonnie, and looks to see where if Damon's still there, and Damon's already gone on the move to Fell's Church. My one thing about the scene is just, are we really going to take calls with our brother's vampiring right here? Like, Stefan, what are we doing? And I know it's kind of just imminent stuff. So I know why, and he kind of did have to take it, and she just sort of just starts just kind of vomiting it out to him right away. But I'm like, no, Damon can hear everything that's going on this phone call. Maybe don't have it right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
Our next scene, back where it all began, we are at Fell's Church. Bonnie/Emily is walking in the woods, and Damon catches up to her and directly addresses Emily. Emily tells him she won't let him bring Catherine back because she has to protect her family, and Damon reminds her that he has protected her family and that she owes him. She says she knows this and that she's sorry. Damon goes to attack her, but she uses her very strong magic to ram, literally just uses her hand, and it rams Damon into a tree that pierces him, and she just keeps on walking. This little baby scene, I love just seeing some powerful ghost witch magic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Love it. All right, moving right along. We have our next scene. Cruel is dating my history teacher. We're at the Gilbert residence. Jeremy pulls out an old box, which we can infer probably holds some historical things that belong to his dad, per Jenna, that they were talking about at the grill. Alaric walks Jenna home and up to the door. They clearly had a nice time chatting at the grill, and as they are wrapping up their playful banter, Alaric looks strangely at the door.
Mm-hmm.
Jenna almost invites him in and decides against it and gestures to Jeremy, saying and then he says some other time then, and to have a good night, and heads home. Honestly, the correct move, because yes, Jenna, thank you. Jenna comes, kind of more into the house, and Jeremy has pulled out all the boxes for his history paper, and he shows her a picture of her and Logan Scumfell. She says, me and Logan, that's just cruel. And then to which then Jeremy responds, Cruel is dating my history teacher, which, Jenna cheekily says she's not dating him yet.
Messed up.
Jenna walks away, and Jeremy opens up an old journal that belonged to a Jonathan Gilbert. He opens it to an entry of June 1864.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, the plot thickens.
It sure does. Before we talk about how weird Alaric is at the door, it seems like he either drove her home or walked her home, but she specifically says that Jeremy ditched her and that he was walking home, which makes it think that she has her car at the grill.
Yeah. So, or did they have a couple drinks? So maybe she left her car at the grill to be responsible and they walked home? Potentially.
But I feel like that
Yeah, well, they were just, I think, probably they just wanted to walk home together.
Yeah, obviously.
She was probably like, I can also walk home, just like Jeremy.
Yeah, but Alaric's being really weird at the door, right?
Yeah.
Kind of looking at the door frame.
It's like, I mean, it's intriguing to me that they are choosing to do this, and I guess maybe just building mystery, especially for what happens at the end of the episode. So
yeah. Also, I know that Jeremy is kind of laughs it off after he says it's cruel to date my history teacher. But like, Jenna, please, like, maybe give it 5 seconds. Maybe like don't approach, like, even if you're going to start dating his history teacher, maybe not have him walk you to the door and be like shamelessly flirting with the door wide open when Jeremy's trying to do homework. Like, it just
like, come on, he's already been through a lot.
Yeah.
And I know he doesn't currently like remember some of the like darker things that have happened in the last few weeks, but like, let's just say.
Well, Jenna doesn't either because she just wasn't here.
Yeah, because she was at school, I guess.
I guess she was just gone. Just the last thought I have about that is that writing journals seems to be a Gilbert family trait.
Sure does.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So our next and one of our final scenes, we have just a couple scenes left, is with One Comes All. We're back at Fell's Church. Stefan reaches Damon on the tree and helps him down. Emily/Bonnie acknowledges Stefan. Emily says that the people of Mystic Falls don't deserve this and that they should never have to know such evil. He asks what she means as Damon is yelling at Emily for wanting to destroy the crystal. Emily says she won't let him release them into the world. Stefan is confused by them and asks Damon about the story of Catherine being sealed inside the tomb. He's like, what did you leave out of the story? Stefan asks Emily directly what she did, and she says, to save her, I had to save them. Stefan puts together that she saved everyone in the church with One Comes All. So Damon doesn't care about this because he only wants Catherine. Stefan questions Damon's motives being one not of love but revenge, to which Damon says, why not? They killed 27 vampires and called it a war battle, which we can think about that right from the first episode in Mr. Tanner's history class.
That Stefan corrected him on because this is the information that Stefan knows about what happened. So.
Yes, intimately. Damon goes on to say that the town deserves this, and Stefan does not agree with this since the people who live in Mystic Falls are innocent, right? And says that Damon shouldn't be harping on something that happened 145 years ago, right? Punishing the sins of their predecessors, right? Their ancestors.
Yeah.
That like that you could punish if any of them were still alive, but to hurt their kin doesn't make any sense, right? Damon insists that if they were found out, the town would turn on them and Bonnie as well, and that they would all be burned. And he says that like the town already knows too much, has seen too much. Emily insists that things are different now and that she can't free them and that she won't free them. She uses a spell saying incendia to ignite a pentagram on the ground, creating a huge wall of fire between herself and the brothers. And now Elena, who has just arrived. Emily throws the necklace into the air and destroys it. Damon is very upset by this, and we see a flash of Emily behind the flame before she leaves Bonnie's body. Once the spell is complete, the fire extinguishes, and Damon runs to bite Bonnie's neck. Stefan throws him off of Bonnie and listens to her heartbeat. She is barely alive, but he uses his blood, like we were talking about vampire bats, to save her. Her neck heals quickly. Pretty big part of the story to leave out, Damon.
Yeah, Damon, you forgot Catherine and so wait, is it 27 plus Catherine, or is Catherine included in that 27?
I don't know.
Either way, that's a lot of vampires.
That's a lot of vampires. How do we feel about this grudge Damon is carrying for Mystic Falls and his residents?
You know, again, like, since I have not watched the series in a long time, but I am remembering a couple little things about just some stuff with the people of Mystic Falls, and I think it would be fair that if they were burning vampires, like they were obviously vampires were being hunted. I mean, he does say it in this episode that like the townspeople were picking off vampires one by one, and like I guess like my question is, and I know that we'll probably find out another time, but I think, like, were they also vampires at this point?
We don't know.
So that's
at this point.
So, but yeah, we don't know. But I think that it's not fair. Of course, it's not fair to be putting this on like the descendants of the people that were there at that time, because they don't know that. And that's like, I don't think that this is an appropriate way to go about your revenge.
Yeah, certainly. But I do think this isn't anyway me arguing for him, but I do find grudges for immortals to be really fascinating, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
obviously, Damon has carried a 145-year grudge against his brother. We
Yeah.
don't know specifically everything. Obviously, we know a lot of it has to do with them loving the same girl,
Yeah.
right? But then, obviously he's been holding this grudge as well, and I always think it's interesting because I'm like, yeah, you've been alive forever, so like maybe your memory doesn't deteriorate, and vampires tend to be passionate, so maybe like that anger doesn't die down. But then I could see an immortal being like, that was so long ago, and like I've lived whole lifetimes since then. So I just think it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, it is an interesting thing. It actually just made me think of this. Did you read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil
Not
by
yet.
V.E. Schwab? There's some exploration around that in that book. And I think you should definitely check it out. And also you could also check it out and also purchase it through Novel Idea online if you'd like. And not our only book recs today, just saying.
We've got some more, yeah.
But yeah, like it is a fascinating thing to think about, like immortals and their lifetimes and how they live through time, because it is like, yeah, like, is it because their memory is so crisp that that all those feelings, like anytime they think about it, it's like a fresh hurt again. So like maybe that's why it feels so potent for them, because it is weird that like it's like, I don't know. It is just fascinating. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yes. Just my last two thoughts about the scene is so to Stefan's point of like, they're like 27 vampires. They're not humans. And I don't care if they're humans or vampires. It seems pretty messed up to me to burn alive or unalive these people, right?
Yeah.
And for a vampire to say that, I just, and then my last thought is, Emily, girl, I'm sure it required a ton of magic, right, to possess Bonnie, but also doing the spell using her body as a conduit. But I feel like she didn't think it through, right? Because she literally is like, whether or not she's doing it on purpose, she is antagonizing Damon.
Yeah.
Right? She's like rearing him up, right? He is getting more and more upset, and he immediately goes to try to kill Bonnie, right?
Yeah.
And the whole point is you've had him protecting your ancestors, which is what you said you care about.
Yeah.
And like, yes, he hasn't been feeding, but he hasn't been feeding, right? So he might not be able to stop.
Yeah.
And even just taking that much of Bonnie's blood might make him stronger than Stefan. So I'm like, I don't think you thought this through.
I'm in agreement. Like, it's just so crazy to have not fully thought that through and put her descendant in danger. Like, what's that about?
Direct peril.
Like, truly. Okay. On to our next scene. Brutal honesty and mutual understanding. We're at the Forbes residence. Caroline is back home from the sleepover and is in her bedroom. And Matt quietly climbs through the window. She hears him and freaks out and asks what he's doing there. He shares with her that he lied about how he felt cuddling in bed with her. The cuddling creeped him out, which Caroline understandably is affronted by. I would be too. He said he doesn't like her and never has, but being in bed with her was nice, and that he stayed the night because she was sad and alone and he felt bad for her. He shares that he knows how she feels because of his own family circumstances and is struggling too. And then they do have like this tender moment of understanding.
This scene is so fucked.
This is like so crazy.
Like, what a way to go about this, Matt, right? Like, he's just like insulting her after insulting her, right? Like, obviously he doesn't know the night that she's had, but she's just been scared, and he climbs in her frickin' window. I actually don't think she reacts like enough for how freaked out she should be. also that she's like gone home from this séance and she's seemingly alone in her house, right? But like cuddling creeped him out. That's the language he uses, right? He doesn't like her. He never has. And that he only stayed over because she was sad and alone. He felt badly for her.
It's just truly just what? If a boy
I'd push
at
him
that
back out
age
that
ever-
window. I'd just literally push him back out that window. Bye-bye, Maddie Blue.
Yeah, go. Yeah, you're right. You just need to be like, just kick him out.
And like, I understand, like, I appreciate the honesty, right? He
Yeah.
and Caroline have that in common. And there is this mutual understanding and it certainly softens her.
Yeah.
But like, there are different ways to go about
Yeah.
this. And that's a really messed up way to
Yeah,
say
it's just like I did not love his way of trying to work through his confusing feelings for Caroline, which is clearly what he's experiencing.
yes,
But
yes.
it's like, my goodness, my guy.
Mhm,
No. All right. On to our next scene. Oh my gosh, we're almost at the end. Here we go. Next scene. Everybody Cries, part 1. Bratfell's Church. We learn from Damon that Catherine never compelled him, and his experiences with Catherine were real to him, or so he thinks.
mhm.
He says he'll leave now, like leave Mystic Falls. So, wow, that's big. Bonnie and Elena are across the way, and Bonnie is confused and scared about what happened to her, trying to piece together what she saw Damon do to her, and asks Elena what's going on.
Mhm.
Understandable stuff. Stefan does then arrive during their exchange, and Bonnie is skeptical and scared of Stefan now, but he says that he won't hurt her, and Elena ensures this and helps her into the car. So once Bonnie's in the car, Elena stays out to ask Stefan if Bonnie's in danger of becoming a vampire because Damon bit her and she almost died, but Stefan tells her that she would have had to die with Stefan's blood in her system, and that she, Elena, can keep an eye on her tonight to make sure that nothing happens before it leaves her system.
Mhm.
Elena tells Stefan that she's going to tell Bonnie about everything and that she can trust her because she can't live in secret anymore, and he agrees. She also tells Stefan that she thought she couldn't be with him, but she says she can and that she doesn't have to, or that he doesn't have to push her away. But then Stefan says that he can't do this and that he has to go and that he can't be a part of her life anymore because too much has happened. Elena urges him not to walk away because this is home. It's his home too. And he just kisses her hand and leaves. She tells him not to walk away, but he doesn't look back and she starts to cry. Man, wow. Okay, well, I genuinely feel bad for Bonnie in all of this because this is just like, what a wild thing. Like, I mean, she's just like doing this own personal reckoning with her own ancestor and then getting like in these crosshairs with these beings that she doesn't know are like supernatural creatures is just some wild stuff for our girl Bon.
Yeah. And I'm just so glad that Elena's finally going to tell her.
Yeah, I'm so excited for them to finally just be on the same page with all of their equally crazy supernatural lives that they're leading.
Yeah, exactly. And then my final note is that Alex, my husband, wants to know why Stefan walks away at human speed from Elena instead of vamp speed. And
dramatic effect.
I was laughing as soon as he said that. I was
really
like,
funny.
My only argument was, well, he did give Bonnie some of his blood, so maybe he's like a little woozy right now and needs to like go snack on a rabbit or something. But I was like, yeah, why, Stefan?
Yeah.
You don't need to hide it from anybody.
No, you can just bolt, buddy. You can go. You can just bolt. But actually, no, I really do think that there's like, okay, listen. I feel like, okay, we always like Damon's obviously the most like dramatic one, like out of the two of them, but like Stefan's a little dramatic.
Oh,
he's a little dramatic.
Yeah, he sure is.
So he's definitely like taking that walk. He's like because he's sad and
he's got a hot back.
He has a hot
needs her to watch him walk away.
100%.
So we'll move into our final scene of episode 9 called Everybody Cries Part 2 / Unwanted Guest. Because there are a couple characters who don't cry in the scene, but almost everyone does.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So we get our end of episode montage. Jen is at home and rips up the picture of her and Logan, so she's not crying, but she's definitely in her feels. Caroline and Matt are having snacks in bed together, and they're like giggling. I have to say, who like is like basically laying down and eating snacks in bed? Like, what? But it's wholesome. Damon sits alone in the woods crying. Stefan is at home with his diary, but he can't write in it. And he throws it on the bed. He starts crying.
It's actually like really sad. His
oh
crying
my
is like pretty
God.
sad.
I'm beside myself watching it.
Like
My
I'm not
sweet little Steph.
as much as I do. Don't worry, there will be enough time for me to like be hyping up Damon. It's just that he hasn't really earned it at this point. But like I mean, he like Damon's sad and you can really tell it. But I'm like actually I do legitimately feel bad for Stefan.
Yeah, I do. And then we don't hear what she says, but we see Elena sitting on her bed with Bonnie, and she's telling her everything, and they are both sobbing, and they hug. Downstairs, Jen is moving boxes when the doorbell rings. She answers it, and it's Logan asking if she's going to invite him in. Do not let him in,
No.
Jenna.
Not with that outfit. No, just because it's like definitely different from how he was dressing before. Just saying.
Yeah, he also like appears kind of grayish, but it could just be the lighting. But yeah, I'm
It's sus.
sus for sure. And that's where this episode ends.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So the only like I just think when actors can really do like a good cry face, it really just gets you right there in the feels. And I think everyone was putting on their good cry face for this episode for sure. So. All right. Are we ready for some folklore?
Yes, let's dive into some really fun folklore tonight. So since our girls performed their first séance in tonight's episode, we thought it'd be fun to explore séances for this week's folklore section. Brenna and I, as we mentioned earlier in the episode, have actually performed a séance together. So in this section, we're going to chat about the history and lore around spirit communication, as well as our own experiences.
So, according to the dead history, long before Victorian parlors were filled with ghostly whispers and mysterious rappings, ancient civilizations sought messages from beyond the grave. The Greeks visited the necromantians. I think we got
Sounds great.
That pronunciation right. Underground temples where the dead were said to speak. The Chinese practice Fuji, a form of spirit writing. And medieval Europe was filled with tales of witches and mystics summoning spirits through such practices that were often branded as heresy.
According to Britannica, the word séance, which is in French translates to sitting, in occultism refers to a meeting centered on a medium who seeks to communicate with spirits of the dead. Because strong light is said to hinder communication, séances usually took place in darkness or subdued light. They generally involved 6 or 8 persons who normally formed a circle and held hands. And I will just say, because I've read a lot about seances and spiritualism in particular, that the number of people was very important, especially in like Victorian times, because they believed you needed like positive and negative in terms of how like people's energy was, not necessarily meaning like someone was cranky and someone wasn't, but how they saw a balance between energy.
Whoa.
And that it typically was an even number of people. And if a group of folks got together, let's say 3 or 4 times, and they didn't feel like they successfully had spirit communication, they would rethink the group dynamic.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's just like a fun little fact that I read about. Actually, one of the books I'm going to recommend in a little bit. I read it from there.
Well, question about that then. So is that why theirs went awry? Because it was just the 3 of them doing this séance?
It could
I mean,
certainly
obviously
be.
Emily was kind of like doing some more stuff, but it kind of tracks.
Yeah,
right?
it could be that the energy was off.
Yeah,
certainly
balanced.
Yeah.
All right. So believers assert that communication has been established when, and we're going to just go down a little bullet list back and forth. So Do you want to start?
When a disembodied voice is heard,
A voice speaks through the medium.
a ghostly apparition appears.
Sometimes music of an unknown source seems to fill the room. Objects appear to move for unnatural reasons, or a hand, a limb, or an entire body may take shape from ectoplasm, a substance that secretes off spirits or their earthbound medium. That is like pretty much the slime in Ghostbusters, which is lovely.
Other alleged means of communication include automatic writing, trance speaking, or a Ouija board or planchette. And Brenna and I actually have matching planchette tattoos, which we'll be sharing.
Yeah, we can. Well, I'm actually wearing shorts, so here you go. Look at this show.
And a little bit of leg.
For our crazy episode. But also we will be sharing one that has it a little more clear on our Instagram. So, okay. Why did I feel like I had to do that? I don't know.
Honestly, I'm so glad. It's everything. It's everything.
Okay, so many of the seemingly mysterious phenomena manifested during seances are affected by the medium to validate their claim to supernatural powers. Some spiritualists actually possess the ability to communicate with spirits. However, this remains open for debate. And yeah, there is just like, and I know I've done like some research over the years with, like seances and spiritualism as well, which we're going to get into in just a moment. But yeah, there is a lot of debate between people's validity of if they really can commune and have that mediumship, or is it just being manufactured?
Mm-hmm.
So,
certainly.
And I think there was even like a story that I wrote like back a while ago about a haunted Ouija board that I'm currently editing and hopefully find it a home. But there was like a Fraudulent Mediums Act, I think, like that. I don't know. I don't think it was here. I think it might have been in Europe, but that basically tried to like distill stuff down to like this all being a game because like they didn't. It was in like the 1800s because like they didn't want people like doing this stuff.
Oh yeah, so certainly.
But we can talk more about spiritualism.
Yeah. To talk about spirit communication, we have to talk about spiritualism. I am like actually really obsessed with spiritualism. Yeah. I've read several books about it, and I teach. Actually, a lot of the material that will be in this next section is from a class I offer every fall called Communicating with Ghosts, Writing Ghost Stories.
Yes.
And so this is a sneak peek or like a snapshot into Christina's like head, right? That like this is the kind of stuff I'm thinking about a lot of the time. So what is spiritualism? Spiritualism is a movement, also seen as a religion, based on the belief that departed souls can interact with the living, right? Spiritualists sought to make contact with the dead. That is the whole purpose of the movement or the religion. And they usually did this through the assistance of a medium. This first gained popularity in America during and in the aftermath of the Civil War. And this makes a lot of sense, right? Because there was huge loss happening, not necessarily, especially given the time, but this is certainly even in today's world, not necessarily always having a body to bury, right? And so this is kind of just as like a side note, but it connects to it, that spiritualism tends to have resurgences in popularity when there's been mass deaths. I haven't done a ton of research into it, but I do know that there was a spike of interest in it with COVID.
Interesting.
Which totally tracks, right?
Yeah, of course.
So that's just really interesting. Modern spiritualism traces its beginnings to America, which is really interesting, especially since we are such a young country, right? But in this way, we really are kind of like the birthplace of modern spiritualism. So it traces its beginnings to a series of apparently supernatural events at a farmhouse in Hydesville, New York in 1848. Not 1864, but not too far off from it. The owner of the house and his family, as well as the previous occupants of the house, said that they had been disturbed by unexplained raps at night. And if this is sounding a little bit familiar with you, it's speaking about the Fox family, Kate and Maggie Fox, who became two and continue to be, even many years after their death, continue to be like two of the most well-known faces in the spiritualism world. However, there is a ton of debate about the validity of the work that they were doing, and it, at the very least, things were fabricated.
For sure.
Throughout their career, but their story is super, super interesting. So Brenna's going to tell you about a couple book recs that I have.
Yeah. So yes, yay to the Fox sisters. I'm like so glad. So I'm just glad that we are including these, and thank you for adding some of this stuff in from like your class, because I feel like it's really covering a lot of it. But so just gentle listener, viewer, whomever you are, if you're interested in learning more about spiritualism, the Fox sisters, Christina does recommend the following books: Calling the Spirits by Lisa Morton, and Spirits, Seers, and Seances by Alexandra Steele Doris. They are all available at a Novel Idea. And you should like definitely, I mean, we don't have any like ways of monetization in these days and these times, but if you would love to like support us, and by us I mean our like our business, but their business, you should shop at a Novel Idea if you can or want to, because they would appreciate it.
We would absolutely appreciate it. I will say too, Calling the Spirits does like a really great, it's a thick but very palatable deep dive into spiritualism and specifically the Fox sisters, whereas Spirits, Seers, and Seances is a little more surface level, but it's covering a lot more. So it just kind of depends, like, do you want to kind of get that like meaty history, or do you want to kind of have an overview of spiritualism? They're two really great books, and I am going to make a mental note for myself, but I'm also saying in this so that when I re-listen to this episode, I'll remember again to include these books in future Fangs Out Friday.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So do you want to learn how to do a seance? Because we've got some steps if you would like to. All right. So we're going to just, again, go back and forth. So take it away, Christina.
Sure. So the first thing is you want to choose a location that is comfortable, safe, and private.
And then you're going to want to set up protections for the space and yourself. Examples are salt in the corners of like wherever you're going to be doing this, or having some protective candles. You might want to choose to wear black or wear crystals like black tourmaline, that it's kind of like just repels negative energy. Moonstone can be used in to aid in spirit communication while also offering some protection.
Then you're going to gather any additional supplies you might want. So deciding what vehicle you want to use for spirit communication, be it a Ouija board and planchette, a pendulum, tarot cards. If you wanted to try automatic writing, which is where you're kind of putting yourself in a trance-like state. And the idea is that a spirit is actually moving your hands and helping you write the words. And so you're going to decide what feels best for you and set up your space.
And then before starting, you're going to talk through your intentions with the group, especially if, like we were hearing earlier, that if you want to make sure you've got a balanced dynamic, maybe be practicing this with others. Though, I don't know, I feel like maybe something like automatic writing you might be able to achieve on your own, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we do keep it in numbers to keep everyone safe. So, but either way, intentions should be shared so everyone's on the same page. You want to make sure that everybody is comfortable before casting a circle, just because you are going to be intentionally inviting energy into your space.
In terms of casting a circle, you can easily look up kind of how that's done, but you can do it in different ways, calling the corners, and inviting the elements. It could be something as simple as holding hands and just taking a moment to kind of like link up your breathing. There's a few different ways that you can do it. So whatever makes sense. But the idea is that the circle is connecting who's ever in your group, but it's also a safe space.
Very similar to Caroline, getting them to breathe in and out before they start in our episode today.
When you all feel ready, begin by asking questions. The more simple, the better. So yes, no questions are a really great place to kind of stick if you can. Sometimes something really, really specific is going to be too specific, right? It's interesting because with tarot, we're always like, specificity is better, right? But in this, you want kind of to stick with yes or no or more simple questions, at least initially.
And then you want to trust your intuition and maintain open communication with the group. If it feels like something is too much or you're getting a bad vibe, say goodbye to the spirit you're talking to and close the seance and the circle to just kind of end the communication.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend, and we'll talk about our personal experiences after this. Don't keep communicating with a spirit or an entity if like the vibe feels bad or if
Yeah.
someone in the group
Is
wants to
definitely
leave.
if someone wants to leave. So, like again, just kind of bringing it back to the episode, Bonnie kind of being done with it does kind of put the kibosh on them, doing it. I mean, I know like other things happen in the episode,
Mhm.
but if you're a Bonnie in that moment and you are done with it, you should all be done with it.
Yes.
So,
yes. And you could argue that they don't really close the circle or the seance, and that might be why Emily continues to.
oh yeah, that could be
right?
potentially
Takes the
why.
necklace
Yeah,
and
they
possesses
definitely
her.
were not having. I mean, they were like the setup, great. The putting Caroline with just in general, just getting them in the zone. Everything else that happens after that just kind of devolves.
yes. And then the last step is to leave space to decompress and reflect afterwards, as seances can be deeply emotional, they could be scary, they could be energetically draining. So whether it's taking time for yourself or taking time to journal or taking time with your group, you want to leave some space for that.
Love that. Yeah. And I would even consider doing maybe like a cleanse of the space afterward as well, just to like just kind of shift the vibe in the room. Whether it was like a good or bad interaction, just to kind of just make sure that nothing's lingering.
Definitely.
Because I think that would be, I don't know, just to be as safe as possible, which is hilarious coming from somebody who definitely didn't do a single of these more protective practices when I was doing this as a young teen. So, do we want to talk about...
Let's talk about the seance that we did with our coven.
Okay, so we did 1 year for Samhain. I don't remember what year it was. Do you? Was it 23, 24?
I feel like it has to be like 23. I feel like it wasn't.
I don't think it was 24.
24 feels too recent.
It feels too recent, but then again, it's 2026 and that's scary. But yeah, I think maybe it was 2023. Either way, we had a seance a few years ago and we had it here in the home that we are currently in, which is my home, Dwight's home, and our apartment. And we set up the protective space. So if you want to like tell us a little bit more about that, Christina.
Yeah. So we set up in your living room. So we had that like table as our space, and we did use a Ouija board. And so we made sure that there was salt in each corner. We kind of created like a protective square based off of the shape of the room. And then we had, was it a single candle or was it multiple candles?
We had two
candles in the window. And the idea was that the candles were to show us kind of what the energy was for the space, right? To try to keep out anything unwanted. But and that one candle was going.
Oh, we'll be sharing this photo. I think we can put this in the no context because the one was meant, and I believe it could have been one of our coven mates. Ash could have done this. I don't remember if I think we might have carved in runes or some kind of protective something.
Runes. Yeah.
To do like a dual thing where we had one candle was kind of like blessed for welcoming in spirits, and another one was blessed to be keeping like any kind of malevolent entities or spirits out. And the one candle that was blessed for keeping things out burnt all the way down, and the other one was still kind of like just burning more normal. They were in the same window, and there was no, at least in our the way our apartment looks like, there was no fan or anything on there that
Right.
would have created that, other than like any incoming outgoing wind. But that's weird that they would have completely two different.
Yeah, it was chilling,
Yeah.
honestly. I think we all wore black,
I think
which
we
makes
did.
sense for Samhain anyway, because, you know, the
Yeah.
veil is thin, it's around, you know, it's
And-
Halloween, it's spooky, it's
Yeah.
all of that. But we did do a dumb supper, and we
did. Yeah, I was
created an
gonna
ancestor
say,
altar before we got into the
Yeah,
séance.
because like I did say that I did mention that we did this for Samhain, right?
Mhm,
Okay, great. I was just making sure that I did say that before I started talking about it. But yeah, so we had like a nice altar for our ancestors. We did the dumb supper, and then I think we concluded with the séance. And we used my Ouija board that I got from my ex-stepmom in middle school. So shout out to that. And I've had that Ouija, so I've had that Ouija board forever. And it was, I mean, we did make some contact. I mean, I don't think we're gonna go into like what happened just for the privacy
yeah.
of our other coven mates. But there was some contact, and but like we said with the candle, we did see some visible, just energetic pulsing, if you will.
Yeah,
No
definitely.
ectoplasm, though.
No ectoplasm, but I feel like with the planchette, it did seem to be moving, not just with our hands. And I feel comfortable sharing, you know, the parts where I felt like there was someone or something that we were communicating with that spelled out the initials of my mom, who had passed a few years before we did the séance, and passed right around Halloween / Samhain. So I always feel just like her energy around then. And I forget, there was like a specific message from her, but there were a few things that I like. It was things that you wouldn't know. Like none of you would have known about her. So it's not like someone moved the planchette, right, to do that. And a big thing I just remember is that I couldn't stop crying.
Yeah.
The whole time. And like it wasn't like I felt like I was sobbing. I just honestly, my eyes wouldn't stop, just like streaming water. And I was like in it. I didn't feel scared. There were some folks who we did actually end up ending the one séance. And then was it just you and me?
Did we just do it? I don't. I think
It
I'm
might
now
have just been
remembering.
us.
It's been so long, but like I think my nan came through too, but I don't know what, like my grandmother. But I don't. She didn't have like, she's like kind of always around though, so that wasn't like in this home. She's kind of always around, so that wasn't like super surprising that she was there. But
yeah, we just started getting some kind of like weird responses.
Yeah, we were getting some darker responses.
A few folks chose that, like, they expressed that they were ready to leave. So again, not going to go into details about that, but we ended that séance, we closed the circle,
maybe we did,
and then we reopened it.
I think we did,
and that was I think everyone who stayed felt like they got a direct message.
I think so.
And so it was this interesting thing because I feel like every member of our coven had a different experience, and mine overall was really positive, even though, like I said, I couldn't stop crying because I was like, my mom's here and like she's okay and she's thinking about me, and like, I mean, I'm a believer to begin with anyway, right? But for me, it felt very meaningful and comforting.
Yeah.
And I also felt like we had beautiful conversation afterwards about how this made us feel, what this brought up for us. And so that to me was really special.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely felt like, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily, like I said, like I feel like I kind of talk to my grandmom often, so it's a sort of an ongoing thing. So, I wasn't like freaked out or anything. I mean, I definitely, I think I was a little I don't spook easily for the most part, but I definitely did, because just being very like the sensory, very highly sensitive, I did definitely shift some of like the certain energies that were going on were definitely there was a change in temperature. Like, and even when I was like a kid and I experienced that, like, that's something that I've experienced. Anytime that I've done something like this, always a change in temperature for sure. Like, I do remember that being something that happened. So that's like usually that's gonna be like a big telltale sign. I feel like didn't like other than the candles that were in the window, like I think we also had candles by the table too.
Yeah.
And I think maybe there was one of those that was kind of like popping off a little bit.
And we were pulling I was pulling a couple tarot cards for us that felt very just like, is this like asking questions in tandem for like, is this like, you know, benevolent energy and things like that. So yeah, there was definitely, there were some weird things. I remember feeling like there was something else like around us when we were there. I do remember being a little freaked out driving home that night just because like I was in my own head, you know, driving alone in the car, but I don't think I brought anything, but I'd like cleanse myself before before I went home. I will say I remembered, because again, it's been forever, but I like the next day or so pulled because I do spirit communication, and a lot of it is directly with my mom, and I pulled cards on her death day to confirm if it was in fact like her coming through, and it was an absolute yes.
That's nice. Yay. I'm
and
so glad. Yeah,
that was really special.
I remember you telling us that in the follow-up. And I, of course, since this paranormal activity, if you will, was being performed in my home, I did, in fact, so that's why I kind of I wanted to add in the last little bit of consider cleansing your space after all of this is done. So, because you just want to make sure, especially with the candle, because I even think we put like black salt around the one that was like
on the window,
because we were like, because it was started to go down so fast that we drew black salt to even like further reinforce that this is like a no for us.
Yeah, I mean it's a kind of like a cliche, but it's true that with spirit communication, you never know who you're inviting in, right? Like you might think that you're inviting in a specific person, and I think that's part of what started setting us off is that like initially I'm starting getting chills thinking about it, that I feel like whoever we were communicating with like at first was like almost like tricking us or mimicking what we wanted, and then their responses we were like,
that's weird.
No, like that's not right. And so you never know what you're inviting in, and so this is like my husband, I'm not allowed to do, besides like my tarot, like I'm not allowed to do like a séance in my house or in the bookstore. Anywhere else is fine. But
my house,
you know,
no problem.
Alex grew up in a haunted house, and it's just like you don't know what you're inviting in. You don't get to decide if it's a nice ghost or not. And so, you know, seances are serious business. Like they are fun.
Yeah.
And certainly, you know, when we were alluding to like it being a Victorian parlor game, and it was like very fashionable to do them.
Yeah.
And people certainly believed in it, but not everyone. And just as often as there is a legitimate medium or legitimate spirit communication, there are plenty of con artists, and you can easily fake things.
For sure.
And so just to be mindful of all of that, protect yourself, guard your energy. But if, you know, I always say to folks who are like, why do you believe in ghosts and how do you believe in magic and all of this? Like, I just do, because I've experienced things that I can't explain away. And I know in my heart and my intuition that they were really otherworldly.
That there was something. Yeah. And I think it is just something that, you know, and I feel this way for all of us. It's like the more you're open to having these connections, like the more that, like, it's something that I think we even talked about this in one of our earlier episodes. It's like the more you're like open to it, because it's something that connecting to beyond or whatever, however we want to call it, is something that's like possible. And like, yeah, sure, there are people that are like psychic and mediums who are really, really attuned to it. But like everybody can like learn how to connect.
Yes.
Like that's not exclusive to anyone. It's just kind of your own views on it and just how, you know, building up the way and how you do it. And so, and just being open to it. So choose however you would like to, but if you would like to kind of do any of this, you know, we just say be safe.
Be safe. And we will, this is all we're going to chat about with our own experiences this evening, but there will certainly be moments throughout the show where we'll have more ghosty things happening, so we can talk about some more personal experiences. But with that, Brenna, should we jump into hot takes and final thoughts?
We will, except for I do need to say that Christina put this wild wiki how to do a séance, which is truly hilarious, and I am including some of these pictures in our no context this week.
It does not tell you to close the circle / séance. So
no, it doesn't. It don't
trust WikiHow.
Don't trust WikiHow, but I am gonna post pictures
hilarious.
from WikiHow though. But now, without further ado, our hot takes and final thoughts. Well, to just really go from our previous thing, one of my first hot takes is ghost and seance stuff are always things that work for me in storytelling. Like, I love it so much. We obviously just talked a bit about our own experiences, and I just have always enjoyed it. This is my hot take. Elena is the worst friend to Caroline. Someone's got to say it, and I'm saying it. We did say early in our earlier episodes that Elena is a good friend. Well, she's a good sister. She's an okay friend.
She's an okay friend.
She's a good sister. She's an okay friend, but she's a bad friend to Caroline.
And she's not a very good girlfriend either.
And
just saying. She's making it real easy for his slow walk away.
Elena's got some growing to do.
She does.
Oh my goodness. Like, but you know what? Bonnie is a best friend to them both, because not only, even though they've been on the Caroline and Bonnie have been on the outs like this, or like from the previous episode into this episode, at least Bonnie's like real with Caroline.
Yeah.
And I love that. Like even though she didn't really meet Caroline where Caroline was at in certain ways, but I think in other ways she does, because she doesn't just like pretend like her and Elena have a different relationship than they do. And I appreciate that about her. Okay, so like I said, this like Alaric new character, we're going to be seeing more of him, but they definitely do a lot of like very, in my opinion, feels very overt work on like making him super sus. Yeah. It like feels like they're laying it on a little thick.
It's in all capital letters. Is he a vampire?
That is, it really feels like, and like it's, I know it's a TV show and I know that's like, it's like kind of like building the anticipation, but it was just something. Did you feel like that at all? Like, did you feel like it was very like too on the nose maybe?
Yeah. It's like, ring.
It's like, hold on.
Oh wait, it's a family thing. Like says like just basically a summary of what Stefan said about the ring. You know, it's just So it's a lot, and no one who's human stares at a door frame like that.
No, so it was just a little.
Don't walk her home if you're not thinking about going in with her.
Yeah, like also. Well, I mean, she did say no, so because she was almost gonna.
But, like, he seems skeptical, too.
But he also did. Yeah, he was being weird. Like, he was...
Does he think she's a vampire? Like, what?
Well, yeah.
That's not going to help you, bro.
No, just...
It don't make any sense.
Oh, man. We're going to keep it... We'll be keeping tabs on Mr. Alaric Saltzman. Anyway, so we also have... Again, this kind of, like... We touched on this a little bit, but I just was screaming out why... Emily, after talking about all this stuff about protecting her lineage, and then just poofs out of Bonnie's body and just leaving her defenseless towards Damon. But not only that, but why again are we not equipping these people?
Why aren't we drugging our friends?
Why are we drugging our friends with vervain? What are we doing? Like, I mean, I know we did that with Caroline earlier on, but why aren't we having that? Maybe not even drugging, but maybe let's get some friendship bracelets. Let's get some friendship bracelets for the girls. friendship bracelets for the girls. Okay, can we just do that? Because I know it's Elena, and I know that it's Elena's the kind of in between all this like vampiric kerfuffling that's going on in Mystic Falls at the moment. But like, she's got friends and family that are around her, and everyone needs to be protected, including Jeremy too.
Absolutely.
So, just my goodness. I am proud of Jeremy for like catching up on all his work, and just I do think that this is so good for him, especially with just where he has been in previous episodes, and just seeing him just a little more adjusted is just kind of very welcome to me. But I'm very, very excited to see more about the journal and Jonathan Gilbert's journal, 1864. And it's just like, it's just tying these things together, because now it's like Jeremy has a piece to this like 1864 puzzle. Like, all of these little pieces are starting to converge, and now we know that that Catherine's in a tomb with other vampires, and that's just cool stuff. So I'm really really excited. And let me see if there's yes, okay, so here we go. Someone's got to say it, and it may as well be the person who's Team Damon. But I am officially tired of Elena and Stefan wanting to be together and not being together. Okay, I am sorry, but they are really just, I mean, they're just both waffling too much for me at this point.
No idea.
They're getting to like Tyler, Vicky, Jeremy level of just like flip-flop all the way around the clock.
How you felt about them.
So
yeah.
It's just, guys, come on. Like,
it's a lot. I actually feel like Stefan's waffling has made more sense to me.
Well, yeah.
I feel like some of my notes that I didn't put in the document, like in my handwritten notes for this week, was like Elena when she is like all in, you know, like being so upset when Stefan's like, yeah, I'm not coming to school and I'm going to keep my space, like keep my distance and give you space. And she's like trying to decipher if it's about her or about like space in general. Girl, it's about you. But like, I'm like, now you're all in? Yeah. Now you're all in?
After all
You've been pushing him away for days.
It's true.
Days,
it's
right?
True.
Whereas I feel like he's been more consistent. And I respect him being like, no, like enough is enough. I gotta go.
Yeah. I mean, I do understand it. It's just more like,
but yeah, it's a back
because
and
it's just
forth
like, it kind of almost needed to just be like, almost like Elena, like, don't do this again. Like, because she was doing the, like, well, I can't forget you. And then I can't be with you.
Yeah, I can't forget you. And then was like, you need to stay away from me.
Stay away from me. And then it's like, but I need your help with this little thing. And then being like, actually, you did help save my best friend. So actually, I think I can be with you.
I think this is just how she treats her exes, right? Because we've seen her do this shit with Matt.
Like, it's just like, girl.
Wearing matching Halloween costumes from when they were couples.
Never forget.
Flirting with him while playing pool. Talking about a new guy. I mean, I can't.
She's doing some work here, our girl Elena. And just, I mean, not that this like it really needs to be said, but like, man, everyone is really sad.
Everyone's crying.
I just like my literally one of my final thoughts is everyone leaves this episode pretty sad. And
the next note, I can't. I didn't see it until right now.
What about me saying that everyone's really sad?
No, the next one.
Oh yes. So, and then my final thought.
I forgot about that.
I actually just Logan, I already know you're no longer eating breaded chicken Caesar salads or wraps, but
with croutons.
But that outfit change is not fooling anybody. There is something up with you. All the sus that's been like being spun around Alaric, I'm like, nope, you sus.
Obviously.
Anyway, I mean, it's obviously he's sus, but it was just, I couldn't believe that this guy's back.
Couldn't believe
And
it.
by couldn't believe, I absolutely believed it when we had no confirmation of his death.
Right.
All right.
Right.
What about you?
All right. So I already kind of talked about this in our folklore section, but this episode accurately shows that seances are a dangerous game to play. Got to protect yourself, babes. I loved seeing the Salvatore brothers bonding. We talked about that a lot. Even Stefan, coming and helping Damon get off of the tree he's been skewered by, thanks to Emily. I like when they're a team, and I need more of that.
Yeah.
Side note, if the brothers went on a road trip, I would watch that spinoff. I'm just saying.
So just like Supernatural, but
I've never watched Supernatural.
I haven't, to be honest, I have only watched like a few episodes, and I know I really should, because I'm sure I would love it, but like I just know that there is a car, and there are brothers that drive in said car, so I feel like, so maybe that's, and then there are supernatural things that happen because that's what the show's called.
Yep, I think you nailed it. I know nothing. I think you nailed it.
Their names are James and... No, they're not James and It's what's his name from Gilmore Girls? But
Jared Padalecki.
Yeah, but Sam and Dean Winchester. We got there.
Well, it's confusing because his name's Dean in Gilmore Girls.
That's confusing.
Yeah, they are another fine-looking pair of brothers.
My
but I like these brothers better.
Which one are you?
Which team?
No, which one of those two?
Not Gilmore Girls, not Jared Padalecki.
Yeah, Jensen Ackles,
Yeah.
Dean
But it's
Winchester.
mostly because Jared Padalecki is very good looking, but I hate his character so much in Gilmore Girls.
That it's enough for a
I'm Team Jess forever. And then Logan would be my second choice. He also has a punchable face, but like Dean, he's a crybaby. And you know what's crazy? His wife, who he cheats with Rory on, is Lexi from this universe. So it all ties back.
Gilmore Girls, Supernatural, and Vampire Diaries. I think they're all on the CW.
Yeah.
No. Yes? No, not Gilmore Girls. I don't know about Gilmore Girls. No.
I forget what it started on, and then I think it moved to the WB. But it's all the same.
Either way.
It's all the same.
It
would have been on CW
if it could be.
Yeah. If it could be. But to say that because at the end of this episode, Damon's like, all right, Stefan, like, I'm going to leave. And Stefan tells Elena, I have to go. And I'm like, but what if they just like went on like a soul quest road trip? They drank bourbon. They maybe played football.
That'd be so chill.
I want that. Adding that to the canon. I loved getting more reveals about Damon's plan, what happened to Catherine, and all the other juicy 1864 breadcrumbs. I gotta say, I don't know how I feel about Matt and Caroline becoming friends or possibly more than friends.
Yeah.
I really can't get over him being like, yeah, I've never liked you, but let's hang out because we're both lonely and damaged.
Matt.
She deserves better than that.
Matt and Elena just have some growing to do.
Yeah. I will check this to confirm, but I believe that Candace King and Zach Roaring did date.
Oh, really?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow. And then he also dated Lexi.
Yeah.
And they broke up recently.
Yeah. Because in a recent interview, she was like, I haven't dated anyone in a long time. People were like, oh, news to us. Everyone was dating on that show.
Oh, yeah.
One day we should just have a mini episode or something where we're like, who dated who?
Just get out bring out a whiteboard and just really go for it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I love it. Caroline seems, I will say, pretty chill for someone who just experienced a séance where some truly unexplainable things happened. And until Matt snuck in her window, she seemed to be home alone, right? Like, I would have probably hit him with, like, my lamp or something, you know?
Or, like, have the window closed.
Right. I know that she, when she's leaving, like, is kind of chalking it all up to just being, like, one big hoax, but I'd still be freaked out,
I would too.
What else? This episode, so this was a big thing I was thinking about in my final rewatches of this episode before we recorded today. This episode, we see Emily haunting Bonnie and later possessing her, effectively fashioning her into a magical puppet. It nearly gets Bonnie killed, as we've talked about. I can't help but think about the parallels between Damon using compulsion to make Caroline do his bidding and Emily, I can't say names. And Emily doing this to her own ancestor. Regardless of the intentions, it's not okay. And I don't want to give too much away, and I won't really give anything away, but we will continue to see both of these characters being used in different ways that I don't think is okay. And it makes me sad. Okay, last hot take is I'm glad Elaine is telling Bonnie what she should have told her episodes ago. Per the earlier friend drama, however, I wonder when Caroline will be in the know or if they'll just keep her in the dark per their relationship dynamic.
Well, I certainly hope not.
Right, and I feel like I understand Bonnie is a witch and her witchy ancestor knew the Salvatore brothers and like there's obviously some deep connection and messed up stuff going on there. But Caroline was chosen by Damon and fed on and, just like totally messed with. And so I do think that she deserves to be in the know. And also I would really like for things to shift in this relationship dynamic.
Yep. And she should get a Vervain friendship bracelet.
Oh my God. Or like put it in her makeup or something.
Yeah. Like what are we doing?
Put it in her hairspray.
Vervain hairspray. That can be Caroline's signature hairspray. I love it. All right.
Favorite line from the episode. Well, I have mine queued up because I found it earlier. So I will say before I share my favorite line that it was hard to not just choose one of the moments of the brothers doing their role playing, but did my girl Caroline. Come on, let's summon some spirits. This Emily chick has some serious explaining to do.
And I love that so much, as it should be. And I do have mine if I can make sure that I scroll back to it because it is one of our titles from today. So here it is. I like a man who can die alone, a quiet strength.
It's good.
It's great. Even though I think that Christina brings up some very good points against like Jenna being like all about Alaric in this moment, but I did like that line because a quiet strength is just funny to me. Okay.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
Who's going first?
I can go first. I haven't prepared, so I'll be figuring it out on the fly unless you're ready.
I think I'm ready.
Go ahead.
I think I'm ready. If you unless to give you time, as long if you're good, because I do have somebody that needs to be killed.
I'm good for a pop question. Pop, it's your turn.
To go back and forth.
No, I was meaning like back in like elementary school where like was it popcorn. Like popcorn Christina, right? So like I'm fine being on the spot, but if you're ready, you can go.
I know who I want to kill, which is so that I do know.
Okay.
But I need to talk about who I want to fucking marry. So I would like to fuck. I'm gonna fuck Damon. He's like kind of being a little like silly in this. He's being a little silly goose in this episode. So I think I'm gonna fuck him. I don't know if I fucked him at all yet or in a while.
I hope you fucked him in
and maybe the abs one.
Yeah,
in Lost Girls. But yeah, I'm gonna fuck Damon. It's been a while, so gotta do it sometimes. I am going to marry Jenna just so she can stop thirsting after these men and just realize that she's enough. And then I'm going to kill Logan because what the fuck is this man doing here? He should already be dead. And maybe he is. Who knows?
Maybe. Great. I'm gonna fuck Stefan because that app count really did some serious work this week. Thank you so much, Paul Wesley, for gracing us with your gifts. Who am I gonna marry? it's a toss-up for me between Caroline and Bonnie this week
Yeah.
because I'm gonna side with Bonnie. No. Oh, you know what? I was gonna actually side with Caroline, but you know what? My mind and brain said Bonnie, so I'm gonna marry Bonnie.
You're
I'm gonna
marrying
go
Bonnie?
with that. But maybe like the three of us, maybe we're a throuple.
I
You know?
like that.
Um,
And you can just replace Elena. And then
yeah. That sounds great. But you know, I really felt for both of them this
Yeah.
episode. And you know what? Bonnie does need a true sleepover, and I'm excellent at, you know, providing a comfy
facilitating.
bed and snacks and dog snuggles. I'm good at listening.
you are
so
good at
I'm good
listening.
at distracting. So
Yeah.
you know, so yeah, I'm gonna marry Bonnie, but like also Caroline.
I love that.
Kill. I think I'm gonna kill Matt.
I feel like that. I was feeling like that based on our like feelings on Matt this episode. I felt like he was definitely up there for on the kill
If
front.
someone fucking talked to me that way,
You would kick him out the window.
push him out
or push him out the window. Yeah.
I wouldn't then share my cookies and my chips and my sodas with him in bed.
with also the same bed that you put your dirty shoes in. Has she washed her
That
sheets?
was, I don't know, but that was unforgivable. That's unforgivable.
I'm never gonna let it go.
Did he take his shoes off this time before sitting on her bed to lounge and eat snacks? I mean, they're already going to get crumbs all over it. Better not get some dirt or mud.
With the food. Okay.
I can't.
No.
But I literally cannot get over how he talks to her. I cannot. So
It's
bye-bye.
bad.
Bye-bye, Matt.
Bye-bye, Matt. And also bye-bye to us.
Push out the window, down the window, and bye-bye.
and
scene.
And that is us for today. We have been so silly this episode, but it's been such a fun time hanging out. So that's all we got for you today. Thank you for, well, I'm jumping.
It's fine. We can thank them now.
Thank you for being along for the ride for all of it. But it's getting late.
It's getting late. If you would like to follow us online, please join us over at Hello Sister Podcast on Instagram and of course, please write into us via our Gmail, hellosisterpodcast1864@gmail.com.
Oh, you know what? Actually, on a super serious note, after being super unserious, something that I forgot to mention even to you and to bring up, but if you could spare a time, if you enjoy like our podcast, whether it's like through video on YouTube or on any of the podcasting platforms, if you could like rate and review us so that we can fight against the algorithm, that would be so awesome, because we would love to get this show out there for more Vampire Diaries fans. And just
there's a lot to love with this podcast, let's be honest.
Yeah, and we're evolving, we're learning, we're still really new to this, and we're excited to hopefully reach more folks. So if you could do that for us, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I just did a finger gun.
We're stuck now.
But
finger guns forever.
Before we go, thank you, Christina, for always being down for doing seances with.
Always. I mean, we're really due for one.
Yeah,
honestly.
we are. I mean, It sounds like we're going to be the next Fox Sisters. It sounds like, but
legitimate.
But actually, we'll be legitimate. Yeah. And also, of course, thank you to our husbands, Joy and Alex, for their amazing behind-the-scenes production work. They are truly incredible stuff. They really, really do a lot of unseen labor. We love them so much. So thank you.
I loved including a lot of Alex tidbits.
Alex got some good
and I
screen
said
time
I was
today.
like, I'm putting this in the podcast.
As
It's going in my notes.
They're important parts of our team, even if they don't appear on camera.
Yes, absolutely. Of course, thank you, Brenna, for never letting a haunted ancestor possess me and just being all around the best. Thank you again for listening to Hello Sister.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello Sister is written, directed, and hosted by Christina Rosso-Schneider and Brenna Dinon. Graphic designs are by Alex Schneider. Music is written and produced by Dwight Evan Young. Sound design and video are recorded and produced by Dwight Evan Young and Brenna Dinon. Hello Sister Podcast is a Bad Day Media production. We did it.
We did it.
All right. And we'll be back soon with Folklore. We'll cut that. Bye.